Stay frosty and head over to ezmutt.com for the cheapest mutt coins on the market. When I say cheapest, I mean it. We're talking 1 million coins for around 45 bucks. Use code DIRECTOR for 8% off.
Action!
Yo, what up, brothers? What's up? It's the Director. Okay, guys, so we're doing something a little different today. We're going to be using some new software, so bear with me. We got to fix a couple of things here before we officially get started. For one, we need to get the chat in here. So let's go ahead and get this set up real quick. Ba-boom. We are good to go. There's everybody. Let's get a couple shout outs in here while we're waiting, man. We got Jason A, R Vega, R Rye the Guy. We got Robert was here, Saul Man. What's going on, everybody? Side K9, welcome to the crew. Matthew Dahl, what's going on, everybody? Chris Woodsman C, Corlac. How's everybody doing today? Okay, guys. I think the other thing I needed to do, hopefully this doesn't mess up some of my stuff I have ready here. Hang on. If we go this and then this, cool. Oh, I hate that it does that. So we're using Streamlabs OBS today. Okay, so we're still figuring some stuff out, like that little feature where like the chat pops in after a second, but it should be fun. What do you guys think of the new emotes? Today we're unveiling a couple new emotes as well. If you guys were in my test stream last night, you've already seen them. We got the H-bomb, we got Kia ora, finally, so we can clarify what it is that I'm saying, not que onda, but Kia ora. We got the big dumb for when things happen that aren't so chill. And we got a couple other things on the way. Good to see everybody. Okay, so I think I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try and put another hotkey in here without messing everything up. 1 second, guys. Let's see. It's gonna be under scene, and then it is going to be. Is that right? Did I put it on 2 by accident? I think I did. Hang on. Maybe we're fine here. We go 2. Ah, see, we put it on. We put it on 2. Are we stuck here now? Streamlabs OBS, you're making me look like an idiot, bro. Making me look like an idiot. We turn that off? Okay. Maybe the jump cut needs to take a break for a little while today. Okay, so guys, I got some stuff that's pretty exciting to show off to you guys while we're still getting used to OBS here, this Streamlabs OBS. So for one, oh man, all my transitions and stuff are messed up too. Well, it's all right. We'll have fun with it anyway. Maybe I can do a lot of this manually on here. I know it'll work here. So if we go here, see, there we go. It just won't work on the hotkeys. We're gonna do a couple things. I formatted it like this. So if we go chargers, there's a little example right here. This is normally what you guys see, right? It's a little hard to see maybe on phones. So what I've gone and done, and we'll go ahead and pause it for a second. What I've gone and done is formatted it a little bit easier for you guys to see. So if we go to this screen here, is that a little bit easier for you guys? Yeah? You guys can see the names. I just went ahead and kind of formatted it a little different. Maybe if we go down a little bit here. Yeah. So it has like the picks on the bottom. It's got the people drafted on the right, and then it's got the available picks on the left. You guys like, and then when we get calls, you'll still be able to see it and stuff. Does that sound good to you? Does that look good? Yeah. I think we're figuring this draft stuff out. It's gonna be crazy. Bengals passed on. Yeah, the computer's a goober. Don't worry about the computer. It's gonna do stuff like that. It's gonna do stuff like that. So if we go back here, let me go ahead and get my music so I can get jamming too. Stuff that you guys cannot hear, at least you shouldn't be able to hear. Let me make sure none of this stuff is on. Okay, so let me turn my music on and we'll get going here in just a second, guys. Yeah, dude, so the Chargers head coach situation is very interesting right now. I think a lot of people are thinking that it's definitely going to be Brian Daboll. Which, again, guys, if it's going to be Brian Daboll, we're all going to be calling Brian DeBoltz, right? Dabolts. That's the new thing. Yes, sir. How do we vote? Okay, so that's another important aspect of this stream. So, we'll do a little test thing here. Well, I got you guys up all on the screen here, okay? And hopefully I got my my widgets and stuff working too. I'm still working on a lot of this, guys. I hate moving to a new software in a live stream, but this was the best way to get your guys' votes in. So we're gonna go ahead and give it a shot here. Okay, so I'm gonna go to polls. You guys should see something in the chat here in just a second. Okay, now the way to vote, here we go. I'm gonna throw it up in 3, 2, 1. Okay, we tested this last night. Hopefully it still works. There we go. A poll has been opened for draft voting poll using, 1, 2, and 3. So what's going to be on that screen is different player names. Okay, so the way to vote, it says there in that little chat box, it says vote by using exclamation point vote, both together, and then typing whatever option it is you want next to it after a space. So it'd be exclamation point vote 1, exclamation point vote 2, and then it's going to show me a little chart here that I can show you guys actually of how the voting is going. So let me actually make this a little bigger so you guys can see that. That's how it's going to kind of look, and that'll give us a good indication of what the chat is thinking as far as what they want to see in the draft. Does that sound good to you guys? So let's say at this point, we can't take forever on every pick. I'm going to close the poll. We got 30 votes in. When I hit complete, it'll show us which one has won. You can no longer vote on the poll. Option number 1 was the most voted on. Hey, offside, upgraded to cast. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate it. I was hoping the alert box would be open, but that's okay. Let's see. Let's go to alert. Let's go to alert box here. I'll go ahead and put the test thing on here for you, my man. Test member, is that how we do it? Ah, see, I'm hoping that works most of the time. I'm still formatting everything, but I'm working on some stuff, man. By the next time we do a live stream, all this stuff's going to be like locked in. Should be pretty cool. Are you going to start on Twitch? Eventually, we're going to do both. Eventually, it'll stream on both platforms. Yeah, man. Okay, so let's say, for instance, in this particular example, that the Chargers are on the board, and here are the available players, right? So we got Micah Parsons, Trey Lance, Samuel Cosme, and then I'm going to ask you guys in the chat which one of these guys piques your interest more. And at this point, I'm going to tell you guys, type in a pick that you like right here based on some of the available options we're seeing. So type in the chat in this particular example who you would like to see. No, don't type vote Parsons. I have to start the poll before we start voting. So what do you guys think? Good to see you, Hugo Boss. How you doing, man? I'm seeing some Darsaw, some Cosme. One guy wants Trey Lance. He's laughing his way in the bushes. Darsaw, Cosme. Okay. And so after this point, I'm going to take like an educated guess as to what you guys want to see. Okay. So I'm going to come back here into this alert box thing, and I'm going to put in a few options. Matter of fact, maybe we can like... Nah, I think that'd be too complicated. So let's go into poll here. Draft voting poll. And then I'm going to type in a few names here. So let me actually grab this thing. It might actually be easier if I just do a little notepad, guys. I apologize. I'm such like a stickler for like production and stuff like that this breaks my heart, but we're gonna do it like this, okay? I think it'll be easiest for this particular stream. We'll get everything locked in next time. So what I'm seeing is that people like Parsons and Cosme and Slater and Darsaw. Welcome to the crew, Julian Bolt. Good to see you, man. So I'm going to say here, I'm going to go option number 1. Okay. Then I'm going to say option number 2. And then I'm going to say option number 3. And this will be fun. We're kind of setting a foundation here, guys, for like the rest of the streams. So bear with me on our first episode. It's going to be a long road, but I think it's going to be very, very worth it. The only Chinese Chargers fan. What's up, my guy? $15 Holla says, hello, director. We meet again. Good to see only Chinese Chargers fan. Welcome back. Hopefully you guys enjoy this. And there's the super chat little animation. I love it. We'll make it a little bit bigger. You know, I'm gonna put some custom stuff in there so it's not just like gifs of the Chargers. It'll be fun, man. It'll be fun. So okay, so let's go back to this screen here. Okay, so where should I put this where it's easiest for you guys to see? So probably like right here. Okay, so I'll put it right here, and I'll say option number 1 that you guys want to see that I'm seeing. Let's see. I'm seeing some guys say they want Parsons. I'm seeing some guys say they want Cosme. I'm seeing some guys say they want Slater. Some guys want Darisaw. And then maybe option 5. I'll throw in like a wild card. I'll put in JC Horn. Cool? Okay. So we'll put this on the screen right here for you guys so you can see it, and then maybe actually make this a little bit bigger. And then I'm going to start the poll here in a second, and then you guys are going to start using these as vote 1. So you'd use number 1 if you want Parsons, 2 if you want Cosme, 3 if you want Slater, 4 if you want Darson, 5 if you want JC Horn. Okay? Let's see. How do we make this H bigger? I think it's under this. Haha! And then we'll make it like 14. Maybe a little bit bigger. Let's make it like 24. There we go. How's that? That's pretty good, right? So I'll make these options over here, and then when we're ready, I'll put them up on the screen so you guys can vote, okay? So stand by. Stand by, everybody. Everybody calm down. I am going to get the poll set up. Okay. So let's start poll. Okay, the poll should be started. And then I'm going to put the options back on the screen so you guys can see. Okay. So that's how you vote, guys. That's how you vote. So exclamation point vote. And then you go for one of those guys. Should I make it easier by taking this option thing off and just put vote exclamation point? Yeah, that's probably easier for everybody, right? So nobody gets confused. So I'll change it to this while you guys are voting. So vote space 1, right? I'll just copy this. There we go. That's how you guys vote. And then we'll be changing the names of these players as we go along. And I'll give you guys a few seconds with every single one. It should be pretty interesting to see what happens. I like this, man. This is kind of cool. Okay, so then we go back here. And we can take a look at the poll live. Right? This is how things are going. 1, 2, 3, 4. You guys can kind of see if you want to like jump in and vote at the last second. Then I'm going to close the poll. We are closed. It's going to tell you guys in the chat that the voting process is closed. And then I'm going to hit complete, and it's going to tell you who won. It's all interactive in the chat, my guys. So option 1 was the most voted option. So after that is complete, what we'll do is we'll come back to the draft here, and we'll say, okay, Micah Parsons was option number 1. It was Micah Parsons, so then we're going to draft Parsons. That's how this is all going to work. Does that sound good to you guys? Yeah. And there's going to be people upset. Don't let people discourage you guys from like voting who for you want to vote for. This is completely fan controlled. Okay? Yeah, so that's kind of how it's going to work. Cool? And then I think at the very end here, we go to this screen, and then you guys can see who we picked. Sounds fun. Sounds fun. Okay, so bear with me, guys. This is going to be a very interesting stream. It's going to be very interesting. We're on brand new software. We're trying things out, getting things kind of locked in. I think the biggest reason that we're even here is so we can have this voting process, so that all of us here can participate and make this draft as interactive as possible. So I spent a lot of time setting this up. It's still very raw, but everything will look better as we continue on. This is definitely not the last one we're going to do. We're going to do a ton of these live mock drafts to kind of see what the consensus is, the consensus favorites are of Chargers fans in the chat. I think it'll be pretty fun. We've got to draft offensive tackle. Yeah, guys, plead your cases. Plead your cases in the comments section. Okay? Like, as we get to each pick, I think we're going to go at a max of like 3 or 4 rounds. As we get to each Chargers pick, I want you guys to plead your cases in the comments section. I'll be reading some of them out loud, and then that'll kind of help you guys determine on who you want to vote for. For example, here Jim Sand says Herbert must be protected, so he's really pushing for an offensive lineman. You know what I mean? That's the kind of thing that we'll be looking for. So let me go ahead and set up a new mock draft. We'll kind of give you guys a couple of times to get into the groove of things. It should be pretty interesting. And keep in mind, we are going to be accepting offers if that's what you guys want to do. One of the options might be trade. Okay? And you guys, we're not going to offer trades. We're going to see what the computer offers us, just to make things simple on the very first time we do this. Okay? Our Vegas says we can get an OT in the second. It's a very deep class, which that is also true. But you have to wonder who you're passing up on an offensive lineman for in the first round. So it's going to be very interesting. So without further ado, guys, I kind of want to give this a shot. You guys ready? I wish that my thing here worked so I can be like, Yoda, and then be like done with it, but it doesn't want to like let me out of that. That's really dumb. I hate that. I hate it. I hate it here. I'll turn that off. All right, boys, let's get into our first mock draft. Let's jump into this screen here. Chargers. Let's start with a really simple 2-round mock draft, and we'll make this one slow. Give you guys a little bit of time to decide what you want to do. Let's go ahead and here hit start draft. Okay, you guys ready? This is our first one. This is our first one. Remember, you can only trade down with people that offer. So you're going to get calls, and the calls are going to have different offers, and you guys can vote to actually vote down or a trade down, and then we can decide which offer to take. I think I'll just tell you guys that we can trade down, and then we'll take the best offer. Okay, so let's do this. Let's try our very first one here. Guys. Gonna go a little bit slower. We're gonna do a 2-round mock draft. You guys are completely in control of what happens. You guys ready? Here we go. And again, remember, the computer drafts like a goober. Okay, so we're going to do a couple that are completely controlled by us, but this also does give us a good indication on the randomness of the draft and draft night. Okay, anything can happen. I know, Najee Harris at 3. Yeah, the computer's a goober. Don't worry too much about it. We got a couple trade offers. The Chargers are on the clock. Okay, so we got a trade offer here, guys. We got a trade offer. The Bears are offering their first and second pick for the Chargers' first and third. The Washington football team is offering a first, third, and fourth for our first and third. And then the Jags are offering their first and second for our first and third. Okay, so keep that in mind. It's going to be a first and a second coming to us for a first and third to one of these trade partners. So we're going to go ahead and close this, and then we can still trade if that's what you guys vote on. Okay, so we're going to decline that for now, but if you guys want to trade, we can. So all I know is that we have to trade a first and a third if we're going to get a first and a second from another team. Okay, so now here's where you guys start pleading your case. We still got Chase and Waddle. This is why sometimes I hate doing it with a computer, man, because sometimes they don't know what they're doing. We see Jalen Waddle. Give me a second, guys. I think I understand what's going on here. Take a look at this. You see how it says here Chargers linebacker? Like positions that need linebacker, and it's crossed out? It's crossed out right there. I think it's still using the picks that we had in our last little example. It's still using that. So that's why we saw guys like Najee Harris and other picks like fly up the board. Let me see if I can address that. Let's start over. Like, these picks are stupid. They're making me upset. Like, we saw Najee Harris in the third round or third overall. We saw Patrick Surtain in the second. I think it's a little bit better once we reset it. Hang on. Let's see what we can do to reset this real quick. I think I understand how to do it now. So we completely close that. We close that. Then we open up the draft network and we start a fresh one. Okay. My apologies, guys. This website can be kind of buggy sometimes. So we're going to go 2 rounds. Okay. Let's give it another shot. Let's see if this one works out a little bit better. So we're going to start the draft. Okay, that definitely looks a lot better. That looks a lot better. All right, dudes, here we go. What if the Bolts trade up for Sewell? We'll definitely put a scenario of which we do that, my guy. We'll definitely do that. Okay, thank you so much for $2 Hella. By Oside K9. It means there's no value for linebacker. I'm pretty sure it just means that it's a bug. I've been using this website for a while. That's why we see all the picks like get really crazy if we don't reset the draft. So we'll keep that in mind here. So again, I'm pretty sure they're offering a first and a third for our first pick. We'd move back like 6 spots with Washington. We got the Bears here, first and a third. So basically, we're gonna get a first and a third and a fifth if we go with the Jets here, number 23. So keep that in mind. Okay, keep that in mind. We're gonna decline that offer here first. Now here's what we got on the board, boys. We got Micah Parsons, Rashawn Slater, Christian Darrisaw, Jeff Wasan. So go ahead and put in the comment sections which ones you guys want, and I'll start filling out this card here. Okay? I'll start filling out this card here on the side with what you guys want. So I'm still seeing Parsons as a big one. I'm seeing Slater as a pretty big one. We'll keep him on the board. I'm seeing Darrisaw still. Okay. Okay. Did Cosme already go off the board? No, he's there too. Is he? He might be gone. Parsons, Slater, Darrisaw. Okay. Okay, guys, here we go. I'm going to put trade in here as well. I'm actually going to put trade as the number 2 one. Okay. So we have Parsons, Slater, Darrisaw. Is there anybody else here that I would throw in as a wild card? I think that looks pretty good. Maybe Joseph Asai. This will be my wild card. Okay, guys, here we go. Here are the options. Actually, I won't show it until I get the thing set up here. So let's get the poll started. Poll is going. And now I'm going to put the options up on the board again. Okay? Actually, this one. All right. Here you go, guys. Let me know who you're voting for. The poll is live. Poll is live. I'm seeing some ones. I'm seeing some twos. Now, if you guys are in the comment section aren't voting correctly, your votes aren't going to count. You got to type exclamation point vote, just like it's shown here. So if you want Parsons, you need to type it exactly like that. Exclamation point vote space 1. If you want to trade down, exclamation point vote space 2. That's what we're looking at. That's what we're looking. That's how you vote. That's how you vote. I know this is probably new if you've never been on Twitch, but this is pretty much the same format that they use out there. Okay? So 1 for Parsons, 2 for trade down, 3 for Slater. I wish it made it a little bit easier. I'll check in the next one. See if I can just put the names in manually, because that would be awesome. That would be very easy. Seeing some 3s, seeing some 4s. Okay, guys, I'm going to give you guys like 60 seconds. Does that sound good? If we're just doing Chargers, I might give you guys a little bit longer. But while you're voting, plead your cases. Plead your cases. Do in here says we can still get a great O-lineman if we trade with Washington football team. Interesting. Interesting. Who's this right here? Daniel says we have Tranquil. Why do we need Parsons? Interesting. Well, if we let go of Denzel Perry, I'll kind of be like the middle guy here, right? If we get rid of Perriman and we put, let's say, our new linebacker in there, Kenneth Murray, at his spot at Mike. Maybe we put him at weak side. You know what I mean? So it'd be weak side, Parsons, Mike. We'd have Kenneth Murray. And then strong would be Drew Tranquil. Parsons can be a Melvin Ingram replacement. I'm not quite sure. I mean, he could be a pass rusher. I suppose he definitely could be. I'm going to give you guys like another like 15 seconds, okay? 15 seconds and we'll check the polls. 15 seconds and we'll check the polls. Matter of fact, let me get that ready right here. Oh, interesting. Interesting. Like, literally just by a couple of votes, guys. Literally by just a couple of votes. Oh, this could be crazy. Okay, guys, I'm going to close the poll in like 3, 2, 1. Poll is closed. We have a tie at trade down. What was the other one? Or Rashawn Slater. Trade down and Rashawn Slater. I'm going to open it one more time, guys. See if we can get a tiebreaker in there. I'll give you guys another 15 seconds. See if we can get another tiebreaker in there. See if we can get it out of here, man. We got option 2 and option 3. Neck and neck. I'm going to close it in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Closed. And at the very last second, guys, it's going to be option number 3. Option number 3. We'll call those scrums. You guys know that from rugby? There we go. So we're going to take Rashawn Slater with this pick. We're going to take Rashawn Slater. And don't worry, guys. We're going to take our time with this. We're going to figure this out together. So in this instance, we're going to take Rashawn Slater in the first round. Option number 3 winning out. And we'll see how the board falls from here. Yeah, Slater's a stud, guys. Don't worry too much about it. It's interesting because Slater, some people would say, is better suited as a guard in the NFL. That he might be a little bit too... His arm length might not be at NFL caliber. But at the same time, Darisaw, maybe he's not as good of a prospect, does play better on the left side, on the outside at tackle. So let me get some of you guys' reactions in here, man. We need protection bad, Tevi, isn't it? SSA lit. Absolutely. Jim Sand says protect our boy. Slater plays every position on the line. He's played pretty good against Chase Young. Yeah. That's why people really love Rashawn Slater, is that he definitely went toe-to-toe with Chase Young and held his own. And we've seen how good Chase Young is in the league. He's in contention for Defensive Rookie of the Year. If we got a guy that was able to beat him, I feel pretty good about putting him on the Chargers offensive line. People are still voting. We'll all figure it out, man. This is the first time that we're doing this. I go to Twitch and it says you're offline. Now, we're not doing it on Twitch. We're staying on YouTube. We're going to be opening. We're going to do Twitch stuff in the future. Don't worry about it for right now. It's just here on YouTube for now. Yeah, Slater's a beast. Okay. So I'm going to go until round 2. There is an option for us to trade up. I'll show that here in just a minute if you guys want to. If we get another offer here. Okay, so the Eagles have offered for us to trade up with them. I hate that it doesn't let me see the board, though. That's one gripe that I have with this website. I'd like to see the board at the same time before I counter offer or whatever. But to trade up, they're going to want our second round. Oh, so that we move up a few spots. Let's not worry about that for now, man. It's too complicated. Getting close to the Chargers' second pick here. Don't worry about trades for now, guys. Okay. So on the board, we got a couple of amazing offensive tackles. Let's say we want to put Slater in at guard. Does it offer us some flexibility if we decide to go Alex Leatherwood or Liam Eichenberg? You know, maybe even if something happens to a man that we've seen get hurt quite a bit in Brian Bulaga this year, that wouldn't be a bad pick, right? Have some depth at that position. Leatherwood still available is kind of insane to me. Jay Tufele right here from USC still available. Interior defensive line. Tommy Togiai. I love this cat, man. He's one of my favorites at Ohio State. Chargers interior line definitely needs some help. Davian Dixon. Landon Dickerson, interior offensive line. You're talking a really, really good center right here, guys. I'm pretty sure he's a center, right? Or is he a guard? Yeah, starting center or guard. Landon Dickerson's a pretty good choice. Amon-Ra St. Brown, wide receiver. That's not too bad. Amon-Ra St. Brown, if the Chargers want to go after a pretty nice option at wide receiver to help Justin Herbert. I think that's kind of the name of the game this draft, is help Justin Herbert. But don't forget defense either, man. We're going to need some help. Deonta Brown, I love this guy too. He's huge. 338, 6'4". That's a nice prospect. So you guys plead your case in the comment section. I'm going to put together a list here for you guys. I'm seeing a lot of Leatherwood. I'm seeing Nixon. Davian Nixon. Some help for Joey Bosa. Okay. Let me compile a list here. Let me see. Let's see. So I'm seeing a lot of Leatherwood. So I'm going to make him an option. Rondell Moore is a pretty good option too, guys. Wide receiver out of Purdue. I like that kid quite a bit. I'm going to put Moore in here as well. Okay. What else we got? St. Brown. Okay. Jamar Chase is already gone, my friend. Eichenberg. Okay, I'm going to put as my... option 5 will always be like a random pick that I like too, man. So I'm going to put Togi in there. I like Togi. Landon Dickerson's a pretty good one too. Okay, I think we got some good options here, guys. I think we're ready. I'm going to go ahead and put the options up on the screen. Here we go. Here are your options. Let me go ahead and start the poll. Stand by. We're going to start the poll. Poll has begun. And here are your options. In round number 2, here's who you can take. Oh, I forgot Nixon. That's okay. We're going to give this a couple of tries too. We're all getting in the groove here. So I'm seeing a lot of Leatherwoods. Again, guys, if you want to vote for Leatherwood, type ! vote 1 for Leatherwood. Put 2 for St. Brown, 3 for Dickerson, 4 for Moore, 5 for Togi. So you're looking here at offensive linemen. Again, the case can be made with Leatherwood, who's a great prospect, by the way. If the Chargers end up taking like a Kyle Pitts or Jalen Waddle in the first round, and we need a guy, an offensive lineman in the second round, I'm pretty sure most people are very much so hoping that Leatherwood falls to us. A couple other good picks, I mean, on the offensive line. Liam Eichenberg is definitely not bad. Landon Dickerson, definitely not bad. So this is why some Chargers fans are saying go best player available in the first round. Because there's pretty good depth, I'm not going to lie. Because Penei Sewell, at the very beginning, is on another level. He's probably going to make the Pro Bowl his first year. He's that good, right? But then everybody after that, it seems like you can stretch maybe between rounds 2 and 4 of some really good prospects. Like, it's pretty deep after that. I'm not saying that the guys that are still going in the first round aren't better than people in the second round. Likely they're going to be. But the depth is pretty deep after Penei Sewell if you're talking about that level of offensive lineman. Okay. Amon-Ra St. Brown, wide receiver. We're talking about helping Justin Herbert out. We don't know what's going to happen with Mike Williams. You know, we technically don't really have a wide receiver 3 yet. Maybe if Brian Dable comes in here and says, yo, we want another guy, some more depth pieces, or maybe I really do like the depth we have now, like Guyton. That could be interesting. Brandon Dillman says, look at Daniel Falele. Dude's big. He has his own gravity pool. Thank you so much, Brandon, for the $5 holla. We gotta get the widgets in this screen too, man. Thank you so much, bro. I'm gonna write down his name too. Let's see. Daniel Falele. Cool. Appreciate it, man. Let's see who's Landon Dickerson's really good interior offensive lineman. Moore out of Purdue is a very nice wide receiver prospect, and then Togi is a very good defensive line prospect. Okay, so I think we're good here, guys. Let's go back to let's see what we're doing here. Option 1, very heavy voting, 48 votes. I think we're gonna close the poll, man. I don't think anybody's gonna catch Alex Leatherwood at this point, which is gonna be the pick for the Chargers here in round number 2. Alex Leatherwood. Actually, let's go to this screen when we show this stuff here. Alex Leatherwood is a prospect that has had experience at both guard and offensive tackle, containing a towering and filled-out frame in many areas. He has adequate strength as a run blocker. He's able to attach and drive defenders out of desired areas. He's very aggressive. Alex Leatherwood, a very, very nice prospect. A very, very nice prospect. Now, some people are going to say, yo, we're going to go two offensive tackles back to back. Well, yes and no. Both Alex Leatherwood and Slater both can play guard very well. And the Chargers offensive line, as you guys will know, is pretty terrible. So if we move to like Slater to guard and we start Alex Leatherwood at left tackle, we're pretty good. You know, if something happens to Brian Bulaga, we got a guy that can fill in there, right? So community pick is going with Alex Leatherwood in this instance. That's who we're going to take. And we'll show the results here in just a minute. Honestly, I don't hate the pick too much, guys. Keep yourselves open-minded, too, as we go into more mock drafts, as we figure this out. Keep yourselves open-minded. We want to try different stuff. And this one, we're going very, very offensive line-oriented, which, again, is not a bad thing. Going heavy offensive line, that's not a bad thing for the Chargers. So in round number 1, we ended up taking Rashawn Slater. And round number 2, we took Alex Leatherwood. And all of a sudden, this offensive line is looking pretty good. Leatherwood and Falele as bookend tackles for the Bolts. Yeah, man. Do 4 rounds. Yeah, we're going to do more rounds here in a second. We're all kind of getting in the groove of this. This is the first time we're ever doing this as a community. And so far, I'm having a lot of fun with it. I think we're figuring this out. We need tackles. Yeah. Some people would argue that if we get another tackle and something happens to Brian Bulaga, this is kind of what we need to do. Some people would argue that Brian Bulaga is almost a guarantee to get hurt. And they think this is what we need to do. Would you guys be upset with this? Yeah, Ricky says not a sexy draft, but let's keep Herbert happy. Yeah, I think that's exactly what we're trying to say here. It's not a sexy draft. But I think Chargers fans that have witnessed what's going on with his team the last couple of years, have witnessed what's going on with his offensive line for very many years, would understand that those are pretty good picks. Arvego says, my dream first and second round picks are Waddle and Leatherwood. Me too. Me too. But keep in mind, guys, the Chargers have a lot of draft capital this year. We have 2 third-round picks. I think it's a potential for 3 third-round picks, right? I was reading something about if Pep Hamilton gets promoted that the Chargers get another third-round pick. Let me know if that's accurate. But for sure, for certain, we have 2 third-round picks and 2 sixth-round picks. So that's a total of 9 picks this season. So if we go 2 rounds back-to-back offensive linemen, and there's some really good offensive lineman prospects later in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th round, we're going to feel like idiots for passing up maybe on some better, positional talent. Some skill positions. If the Chargers get out of this draft, let's say with 4 offensive linemen, I'd feel pretty good. Because again, we still have 5 other picks to fill out. Let me read some of your guys' reactions here. This is really important, guys. This is kind of why I'm doing this. Is to kind of get this conversation out in the open for Chargers fans to broaden perspectives on the draft as a whole, because a lot of people get really stuck on the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd round picks. Like, oh, these are the most important, which obviously they are statistically. Those are the guys that are going to make a biggest impact on your team. So, I mean, again, going all offensive line, it could be the move. But we do want to broaden our perspective a little bit, knowing that we have 9 picks this year. And we could definitely use 4 picks in offensive line between rounds 1 and 7. See what you guys say. David Longa, what's up? Big Dog, what's up, Matt? Want Waddle with all my soul. Yeah, we'll have to see how the board treats us. SSA says beefing the O-line is needed. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. But can we beef that O-line throughout the whole draft rather than just in the first few rounds? It's interesting to think about. Caleb Farley in the 1st, Alex Leatherwood in the 2nd, Tylan Wallace in the 3rd. That could be pretty cool, man. Broaden your perspectives here, guys. Joseph says if we don't draft Jalen Waddle in the 1st, then don't draft a wide receiver at all because we still got Reed. I kind of understand what you're saying, but the wide receiver depth in this draft is pretty deep, man. Like, if we get a guy in the 3rd or 4th, those guys have potentials to be stars in the NFL. I was watching somebody the other day, and they said something to the length of, go in the NFL right now and look at the best wide receivers in the league and look at where they were drafted. How many of them were drafted in the 1st round? Not very many. A lot of our superstars were drafted in later rounds. And in this year's draft, wide receiver position is pretty deep. So if we decide not to go wide receiver in the 1st round, and we don't get Jalen Waddle, but we get an offensive lineman, I would still think about getting a wide receiver in the later rounds. There's a lot of depth at a couple of positions in this draft, guys. I think defensive line is a little bit deep as far as the interior. Offensive line is pretty deep past Penei Sewell. Wide receivers pretty deep this year. Corners not so much. Linebackers not so much. Edge maybe not so much. Quarterback's pretty deep this year. I mean, obviously you're talking about your starters in round 1, but as far as your backups and stuff, it's pretty deep this year. You know? Our Vega says, I like Anthony Schwartz for our 2nd, 3rd, or 4th round pick. Yeah, Anthony Schwartz would be amazing with the Chargers. Amazing. Kyle Pitts could be a good 1st round pick too. So I'll get our 2nd draft set up, guys, because this is as much an exercise for me figuring out how to format the draft that's visually, easy to follow. But it's also an exercise for you guys, the audience, Chargers fans. As we do more and more mock drafts, you guys will understand the kind of pieces that we get in the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th round really do matter. So our 1st round pick, I guess what I'm trying to push at here, best player available, you see it a lot with the Chargers for this very reason, because of depth. So if we see a guy in the 1st round that has a lot of potential, skill position, maybe he's not a huge need on the team, maybe you grab him. Maybe you get Kyle Pitts. Maybe you get Jalen Waddle. Maybe you get Caleb Farley or Patrick Surtain. Maybe something happens in the first couple picks in the 1st round where you're like, somebody fell. There's teams reaching for quarterbacks. There's teams trading out, teams trading into the top 10. We can't pass up on that kind of talent, because in the 2nd round, we could turn right around and get a Wyatt Davis, get an Alex Leatherwood, get a really good offensive lineman, which honestly, if you're talking between Darrisaw and Alex Leatherwood, Darrisaw is obviously a lot better, but how much worse is Alex Leatherwood? We don't know yet. It's very similar. Pro Football Chase on IG. Okay. If Pitts falls to us, it's a no-brainer. Yeah, I'm thinking the closer that we get to the draft, more people are going to understand how good Kyle Pitts is. I don't think he's going to make it out of the top 8. Do you think the Chargers can trade up 3 or 4 spots for Farley or Surtain? It's possible. We might do a mock draft here where we trade up for maybe like a Penei Sewell. But yeah, Pitts is a monster. We need a big back. We could definitely go big running back in the 2nd or 3rd round, 5th round. I don't know if that's where I would pick up a running back this year, though, man. If I were the Chargers and I said, look, I'm not liking Joshua Kelly. Austin Eckler's great, but we need a really good complement, power back on those goal line situations. I maybe look at the at free agency. I really do, because running back is such it's a position where guys don't often get paid monster contracts. You look at Melvin Gordon last year. If he took that contract with us, which was somewhere in the realm of 10 or 11 mil, something pretty good that we passed on. You see that all the time. Leonard Fournette. These guys take crazy cheap deals because no one wants to spend up on a running back. That position's very fragile. So maybe the Chargers, if we're really hurting at running back, we're very uncomfortable with Joshua Kelly, which I still think he's got, something to show. I think he showed a lot of flash that he just needs to develop more. But if we really want a running back, I'd say we go after one in free agency if they're that adamant about it. Because we can get a Leonard Fournette, really cheap guys. And a guy like Leonard Fournette on this team at power back could be pretty exciting. Belage is so-so. Yeah, he's so-so. So Someone needs to Photoshop a gas mask on Sewell so he can fall to us. You're terrible, bro. Jason, you kill me. Yeah, you kill me, man. I hope Surtain falls to us like Derwin James fell to us. It's definitely possible. Look at Jalen Darden from North Texas. Might be a 4th rounder guy. Yeah, you guys can help me out here. You guys can help me out here past the 3rd round. Like, I'm still studying up on a lot of guys, man. I have a long ways to go. My next like official mock draft, the mock draft 2.0, will probably happen here in the next week or so. And that's where I'm going to feel really comfortable in my first 3 rounds. You know, I've kind of made my way in like halfway through the 2nd round where I'm kind of starting to grade people. Why the Chargers haven't hired Dable? Because Dable is still in the playoffs. You can't hire him until they're out of the season. Pro Football Chase. Okay. I'm not on IG as much as I should be, but I'm going to copy and paste that name. O-side. I'll copy and paste that name. Okay, guys, stay frosty. We're going to get ready here to start another one. I'm going to do a 3-rounder this time. Does that sound fun? A 3-rounder. Give me a second to see about if I can fill those names in a little easier for you guys so it's super easy to follow in the chat. So give me 1 second here, guys. We're going to get this next mock draft ready. Let's do a 3-rounder. We're going to make our way up to 4. We're going to make our way up to 4. Shave your head. Nope. Because we're all kind of doing this together for the first time. So we're going to go slow here. And then let me take a look at this poll real quick. Is there an easy way... Is there an easy way to edit this stuff? Actually, there might be. There might be. Hang on, guys. I might make this a lot easier for everybody to understand. Yeah, we're going to try it this way. I think that's going to work a lot better. Okay, guys, here we go. Let's start our next mock draft here. Stay frosty. Here we go. With everything in mind that we talked about, guys, we're going to have these little powwows in between drafts here, just so that we can get a wide perspective. I don't want you guys feeling like I know everything, that everything I say is law. I want you guys to keep your own opinions and draft the way you would want to draft, the way you would want the Chargers to draft. But I encourage you to open your mind and perspective to other strategies so we can see a variety, okay? I may be wrong, I may be right. I try to do the same thing with you guys while reading the chat. I try to open up my own perspective. There's times where I would not have looked at, Kyle Pitts. I looked at your guys' perspective. I was like, okay, I'm going to change my mind a little bit. There's a lot of evidence to suggest that he would be a really good pick in the first round, which right now I do think he is. Let's all kind of keep that mentality together so we can get a good variety. Javonte Williams, running back. Yeah, I've seen him. I've seen him drafted in like the 2nd or 3rd round in some mock drafts. So stay frosty, guys. Let's go here with the 2nd draft of this video. And I'm gonna show you guys the new voting thing. I think we can make it a lot easier on you guys. Here it comes. Here it comes. Zach Wilson, 2nd quarterback off the board. Penei Sewell coming off the board at number 3, and then Justin Fields. This all seems very realistic so far. Vera Tucker, maybe a little bit of a reach, but he's a very versatile guy. The Bengals probably get Darisaw in that situation, though, if they really want to go offensive line. Jalen Waddle off the board at the Giants pick. Chargers getting a couple of trade offers. Don't worry about trade right now, guys. I realize this is going to be a little more complicated than I thought with trades. So here's what we're looking at as far as the Chargers' first few picks. Again, we're looking at Parsons, Cosme, Slater, Christian Darisaw. These are the picks we're looking at. And then I'm actually going to fill this this website here. I'm going to do it custom. I'm going to fill it in live so you guys can see the options on your screen. Okay? So we got some guys saying Mika. We got guys saying Cosby. So I'm going to type some of these guys in here real quick, guys. So we're saying Mika, Parsons. Actually, I'm going to put their last name and their position. Okay? Who else am I seeing here? Slater, again. I'll put Slater a little bit lower. How about we put Darisaw a little higher this time? Darisaw, offensive tackle. We'll make him the 2nd option. Waddle's already gone, my friend. Cosme. How do you guys feel about Cosme? Some guys love him. Some guys aren't crazy about him. The guy's a tower on the left side of that line for Justin Herbert. Be very interesting. Some guys say... Some guys saying Harris. That'd be nuts. That would be nuts. Cosme's very raw. Yeah, he's very raw. He's got like the he's got the tools to be a really, really good offensive lineman, but he needs to clean up his technique a bit. But that's kind of what we said about Justin Herbert, wasn't it? Let's scroll down a little bit here, guys. Maybe there's other names that are deeper that you guys aren't, you know, seeing on the screen right now. J.C. Horn. Cornerback. Be kind of insane. Terrace Marshall. Some guys love an outside guy. Rashad Bateman. Be pretty cool, too. Then there's Alex Leatherwood. Kadarius Toney. Eric Stokes. Some guys really love. I think we've pretty much kind of settled in on a couple of names here. So I'm going to go ahead and launch this, guys. This should be a lot easier for you guys to understand. I put in a couple of, like, randos in there, too. You guys ready for this? You guys ready for this? Here it comes. Not Rousseau, yeah. Here it comes. You guys see? Poll is opened. Use 1, 2, or 3. And then I'm going to move this over here and show you guys the options. Is there a way to make that bigger? That's what she said. Let's see. Is this the one? Yeah. Let's actually hone in on this. There we go. That's what we're looking for. Oh. I'm not going to show the votes. How about that? We'll be sneaky about it. You guys can just see like the numbers here. How's that look to you guys? Is that a lot better? I like that a lot better too. So Parsons, Darrisaw, Cosme, Harris, and Horn. These are all the options. So again, you use 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 as the numbers. You vote the same way, but you can see it a little bit easier here. How you guys like that? I like that a lot. Matter of fact, let me make it a tad bit bigger so you guys can see the names a little bit easier on your phones. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Parsons definitely in the lead. We'll talk about why Parsons could be a really good pick here in a second, too. Parsons in the lead. I have the numbers here so I can show you guys. Parsons in the lead with 28 votes. Again, if you want Parsons, you type !vote space 1. We got Christian Darrisaw in second place with 19 votes. Cosme in third place with 6. Harris in contention with 7 votes. And then J.C. Horn with 2 votes. Stop the count. Give me 1 second here, guys. Give me 1 second here. Let's see. Which one am I looking for? This one? Yeah. Okay, give me 1 sec. Can we vote multiple times or just once? I've never used this software before, but I have to imagine it's just once, man. I would have to imagine it is just once. Okay. So it's looking like we'll close it at like 3 minutes and 25 seconds, which is going to be in just a few seconds here. Right now, we're tied up at Darrisaw and Parsons. Last chance to vote here, guys. Darrisaw taking the lead at the last second. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The poll is closed. The winner is going to be Christian Darrisaw. Christian Darrisaw is the winner. of this first round. Honestly, again, not a bad move here. When we're looking at the depth, we're looking at the best player available scenario again. Parsons probably is it, but Christian Darrisaw is not too far behind, in my opinion. Darrisaw was the most voted option with 45%. So we're going to take Darrisaw here. 100% fan controlled. But again, it's not a bad pick. It's not a bad pick. We'll talk about him. Actually, we'll talk about him right now. So Christian Darrisaw. There's a reason to think that the Chargers at number 13, with the options available especially, Darrisaw is probably going to be the pick. A lot of people are projecting Darrisaw to the Chargers right now. And it's because Darrisaw plays very well on the outside. I don't know how much he plays well on the inside. Actually, we can go take a look at his player profile here. There we go. We take a look at his player profile here. Starting left tackle is his ideal role. How do I lock that? There we go. He's in a zone run scheme fit, so he's going to be pretty mobile. Playing on the outside, that's really what the Chargers need. Yeah, none of these are really bad picks, is what Young Woody's saying. None of these really are bad picks. 6'5", 314 pounds. He's pretty nimble. Earned the opportunity to start for the Huskies as a true freshman and did nothing but improve for 3 seasons, developing into a dominant blocker in 2020. From size, length, mobility standpoint, Darrisaw firmly checks the boxes that should immediately become an asset in the NFL franchise in pass protection, outside zone runs, and utilizing his exceptional ability to pull and connect with moving targets in space. Like most young offensive linemen, Darrisaw had room to add functional strength to improve his overall power at the point of attack, but it's far from a deficiency that is of major concern. Darrisaw is a really good pick here, man. Darrisaw is a fantastic option here. You're talking Sam Tevi replacement. Let me see if they have any sort of like comparisons here. Let me see if they got a comparison on this website. Prospect comparison right now is Jake Matthews of the 2014 draft of the Atlanta Falcons. We get rid of Sam Tevi and we get a guy with the upside of Jake Matthews coming into the draft. I know Jake Matthews didn't turn into like an incredible offensive line, but he's not terrible. We could definitely do worse with that pick, man. I like it. Direct, you get a fresh cut? You tell me. Linebacker is something we need and isn't deep. It isn't a deep linebacker class. It's a deep O-line class. So Alex, the boss man, brings up a good point. But how bad do we need linebacker right now? We have to remember Drew Tranquill's coming back. Maybe we re-sign Nick Vigil, who was pretty good this season. Kenneth Murray still developing, probably. If Denzel Perryman leaves, he'll probably move to Mike, our middle linebacker. There's a case to be made that Micah Parsons could be drafted by the Chargers. Right? Start as a right outside linebacker. But some people are really questioning, is a right outside linebacker worth taking in the top 10? I don't know. Parsons, Murray, and Tranquill. I mean, that would be pretty insane. The Chargers, all of a sudden, we'd go from like the linebacker position being one of the weakest on this team to one of the strongest, which is very interesting to think about. Depth, because we always have injuries. That's also true. The Chargers have a lot of injury problems when it comes to the linebacker position. So that kind of depth would definitely make this defense pretty lethal. Sign Tooney or Trent Williams. Yeah, a lot of what's about to happen, especially in these mock drafts, are going to change depending on free agency. And free agency is going to get its own wave of videos here real soon too, man, as that kind of talk heats up. You guys need a coach? Yeah, we're going to get one soon. Probably Dable. This is a Chargers chat site. It's like a fan page. 2 run-stopping defenders. Yeah, that would definitely help our run defense quite a bit. Parsons, Murray, Tranquill would be crazy. Yeah, Tranquill's really good in coverage. Murray and Parsons would mainly be responsible for stopping the run, in my opinion, and some pass rush from Kenneth Murray as well. Parsons definitely could rush the edge, too, if we wanted him to. Do we still have Kazir White? I don't know if he's a free agent, but we do have him as of right now. What's your opinion on trying to trade down to like the 20th pick? Maybe we'll do a draft here in a second where we actually do trade down. See what it looks like. But in this pick, we're going to take Christian Darrisaw and actually feel pretty good about it. Honestly, when you're talking about like... When you're talking about best player available and I see Christian Darrisaw and Rashawn Slater and these guys still on the board, I'm not upset with it at all. I think, as a matter of fact, if I were a betting man, I would say the Chargers most likely take an offensive lineman with their first pick. But we're going to go a couple rounds deep in this one, guys. So you guys can weigh in on the second and third round. We can kind of see the kind of players that we can target in the second and third round, because now we have an offensive lineman. Maybe we go like a skill position in the second round, then another offensive lineman in the third. Maybe we take a second offensive lineman in the second, and then in a position, another position of need in the third. We'll see who falls to us here as we get closer to the Chargers pick in the second round, pick number 45. How do we control? There'll be a voting system coming up here in a second, man. Alvaro Osario says, do you guys like Gus leaving to the Raiders? I love it. Secretly, I love it. Not taking any trade offers this particular draft here. Asante Samuel off the board. Really hoping that he falls to us somehow in the second round. Again, not taking any trade offers right now. I wish I could actually turn that off at some point. We should sign a veteran O-line and draft Parsons. Yeah, that's something that a lot of people are thinking about. Is what changes if we get like a Trent Williams or Joe Tooney? Everett O'Neill says, we can't overthink it. We need to start signing offensive linemen. Yeah, I think via free agency and the draft, that's going to be a huge priority, especially for a guy like Dable. But at the same time, depending on what happens in free agency, it could definitely change what we do in the draft. So the Chargers back on the board. Liam Eichenberg is the top offensive lineman available. We got Javonte Williams out of North Carolina, running back. Jay Tufele, interior defensive lineman out of USC. Tommy Togiai, Ohio State. Davian Nixon. So a lot of interior defensive lineman propositions here, man, that are very, very solid. Very, very solid. Falele. How far down is Falele? He's at number 70 here, so it would be considered a bit of a reach, but it is an offensive line proposition here. Option. I've seen us sign older offensive tackles. I'm tired of that plot. Yeah, but at the same time, I think the draft addressing the entire offensive line in 1 year is also not as likely. You can definitely put in a lot of depth and help a lot of starting positions that are weak, but you never know. Is Parsons another Sean Merriman? $5 holla from Devonta Sargent. He could be. He definitely could be. I like the comparison. I think a lot of people did compare Kenneth Murray to him as well. Thank you for the $5 holla, man. He definitely could be another Sean Merriman. Keep that in mind next time we vote. I guess he could be another Sean Merriman. Nixon, you guys think we get Brian Dable? Yes, I do think we get Brian Dable. So what do you guys think? Start throwing some names out. We got Nixon in here. We can go with interior offensive lineman. Again, we probably need a center, guys. Mike Pouncey this season is gone. Landon Dickerson here, starting center or guard, could be a very good fit for the Chargers 4-star recruit. Okay? Liam Eichenberg, if we wanted to go another offensive tackle. Some people said Javonte Williams earlier. 5'10", 220. Scheme fit is a featured running back. Fit for any scheme. His skill set translates woefully to one-cut opportunities. Okay. Togiai we talked about. Tufele. Nixon we've talked about. Nico Collins looks pretty good. 6'4", very tall wide receiver. Maybe a replacement for Mike Williams at some point. Carlos Basham Jr. 6'5", 275-pound edge. Does he fit the Chargers? You guys tell me. Creed Humphrey, Deonta Brown. Other really good interior guys. Starting guard in Deonta Brown. 4-star recruit out of Alabama. Creed Humphrey, I think he's a center. Yeah, this guy's like a straight-up center, man. Creed Humphrey out of Oklahoma. 6'5", 316. We need a center pretty bad. Taysom Campbell, still on the board here too, guys. Taysom Campbell, 5-star recruit out of Georgia. 6'2", very speedy. Starting outside-only corner in sub-packages. Taysom Campbell looks pretty good to me too, man. Josh Myers has been a pretty good one. Daniel Falele. Walker Little's climbing a little bit. Elijah Moore out of Ole Miss. He's pretty nice. Speedy. I'm going to start compiling a list here, guys. Put your, plead your cases now in the comment section as I fill out this card. We're filling out the card here, man. Stand by. We're filling out the card here. So I'm seeing a couple of names pop up. Let's start here. Seeing a few Williams. We're going to add him. Running back, which would be kind of insane. One cut running back. I'm seeing Eichenberg, who is an offensive lineman. We're going to add him to the card. Who else? Who else, guys? Start pleading your case. Campbell, who's a cornerback. Well, we'll put him on the card. Yeah, Liam Eichenberg's been put on the card, guys. Confirm Eichenberg, Williams, and Campbell are all on the card. Moore, wide receiver, Rondale Moore out of Purdue, or the other Moore? I'm going to say Rondale Moore. He looks pretty good. Moore, wide receiver. Okay, he's on the card. Who else we got? Dixon, interior defensive lineman. We're going to add him to the card. We had Togiai last time, or definitely I would add a Sarah Fuller. I'm going to put Togiai in there anyway. I'm pretty high on him. I like him. He'll be our option 6 on this card. Talanoa Vanga. I'll have to look into him, man. Yeah, Nixon's on the card. Anybody else that I want to add as like a wild card guy here? Nico Collins. Some guys really like him. Ex-receiver, dominant starter, or a developmental starter. He'd be a project, but he's very tall. Anybody else here that kind of catches my eye? Okay, I think we got it. Okay, so there's going to be 6 options in this one, guys. You ready? Here we go. We're about to start the poll. Here are your options. Here are your options. Williams, running back, is option number 1. Eichenberg is going to be option 2. Campbell is option 3. Moore, wide receiver, is option 4. Dixon, interior defensive line, is option 5. And then Togiai, option 6. Get your votes in, fellas. Let's go. I'm going to let this run until 2 minutes, 30 seconds. 2 minutes, 30 seconds, and we're going to close it. Get your votes in. It is time. It is time. Looks like Taysom Campbell, cornerback, taking the lead with 19 votes so far. A couple votes at running back. Interesting. Eichenberg with 9 votes in second place. Togiai, interior defensive line. Dixon with 2 votes. So far, it looks like Campbell's going to take this, man. We have another minute here left on the clock. Where do I get my vote in? Let's talk politics. All you got to do is type exclamation point vote. One word. Just like it's put right here. You guys see? If you want Williams, this is how you type it out. Exclamation point vote space 1 is for Williams. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. That is how you vote. We're going to give it another 45 seconds. You guys can still get it in. Again, you can only vote once. That's what it's kind of looking like at this point. You can only vote once. Looks like Taysom Campbell's probably going to be the pick, guys. We got another about 25 seconds. Taysom Campbell, cornerback. He's going to be our outside guy. Liam Eichenberg slowly kind of making his way up a little bit. 10 seconds here, guys. Last push for Eichenberg. But it looks like it's going to be Campbell. If we drop cornerback, do we cut Hayward? It's possible. We could trade Hayward, too. 3, 2, 1. The poll is closed. The poll is closed, and it looks like Taysom Campbell is going to be the pick for the Chargers in the second round. Let's take a look at this guy real quick. Tyson Campbell. Or Tyson Campbell. Tyson Campbell aligns at cornerback for the Bulldogs defense. He plays a position with very good athleticism overall, as evidenced by his agility and short area quickness. He has the NFL body type and frame teams covet for the position. Again, standing at 6'2", 185. When combined with his movement skills and length, it is easy to see why the player would be intriguing to NFL scouts. He has very good man coverage ability, but struggles with situational awareness. He remained healthy in 2020, which worked to answer durability concerns. However, when on the field, he has struggled to consistently make plays in the passing game. Ideal role, starting outside corner only in sub packages. Scheme fit, a team with that implores press coverage and sprinkles in some zone. Would probably make more plays playing off and in a predominantly zone scheme. Kind of fits what the Chargers do. Let's take a player comp here. Let's see how this guy stacks up. Player comp, I don't know if it's available yet. To be determined. But 6'2", that means you're starting cornerbacks depending on what we do. With Michael Davis, a 6'2" guy with speed. Very good in man coverage. Again, we got rid of our defensive coordinator in Gus Bradley, so playing soft cover 3 all game is probably not going to happen anymore. A prospect like Tyson Campbell, 6'2", speedy outside cornerback. I don't know, man. I like it. I don't think we need a cornerback unless they're as good as Jalen Ramsey. You're not going to get that lucky all the time. And honestly, Michael Davis has turned into a pretty good cornerback. And Casey Hayward has shown extreme signs of decline. So unless the Chargers address cornerback in free agency, I think it's definitely something that we should look at in the draft as well. So we're going to go ahead and take Campbell with this pick here. Tyson Campbell, welcome to the Chargers. Have I not been playing the sound all the time? Oh. We'll get better at that. Jaguars are so lucky they were able to get an amazing cornerback like Jalen Ramsey. Yeah, and then they had to trade him away because they were a crap team. Chargers would have 2 Campbells. Yeah, we would. We already have that other guy. We already have the other Campbell on the team too at cornerback. So we're getting into the 3rd round here now, guys. We're going to do one more mock draft after this. We're getting to the 3rd round, see what the Chargers can do. We have 2 picks in the 3rd round here, guys. Keep that in mind. No trade offers. In our next draft, we're going to do a trade down scenario in the 1st round. Keep that in mind. Why cut Casey? That's so silly. Not cut Casey, but Casey Hayward, there's a case to be made that we can maybe trade him away. There is a case to be made too, I guess, that we could cut him just because his decline has been kind of crazy this year. And he's one of the highest players against our cap right now. So I don't think we should cut him necessarily, not yet, until I can see more options. But it's definitely something that's been talked about among Chargers fans. You could put Campbell in the nickel. Yeah, you could. You can put Campbell in the nickel. We'd have to get creative with how we use Campbell, but at the same time, it was definitely a good problem to have. You can never have too many cornerbacks in this league, guys. Ever. So let's start pleading cases here, guys. We're seeing some guys. Your friendly Drew says we need a wide receiver this round. Safety in class of Derwin gets hurt. Or in case Derwin gets hurt, maybe. Maybe getting a cornerback next draft, CJ. Yeah. Chris Harris Jr. That's another thing to keep in mind is that these guys, Chris Harris Jr. and Casey Hayward, likely might be gone by next year. So I'm looking at the plead cases here, guys. We're seeing Edgar, we're seeing O-line, we're seeing Ford. So in the first 2 rounds, remember the Chargers took Darisaw and then Campbell. So we've got offensive line and cornerback kind of taken care of right now. We're looking at edge. We're looking at O-line. We're looking at Ford. So let's take a look at a couple of these guys. Paris Ford, Kyle Trask, obviously no. Hamsaw, Hamsaw. Interior defensive line, once again, Marvin Wilson, I've heard some stuff about. Tuipulotu, Marlon Tuipulotu, USC. Levy on Wanzurek at Washington, interior defensive line. Jordan Smith, Patrick Jones, couple edge defenders. This guy has been mentioned before here too, out of USC, safety. Talanoa Huvanga out of USC, 6'1", 215. Eventual starting safety, so he's be a bit of a project, but you guys were talking about getting some depth at that position. Joe Tyron, Ronnie Perkins. Let me start reading the chat here. So a lot of guys saying Ford, a lot of guys saying Wilson. Marvin Wilson, interior defensive line. Okay, so I'm going to start filling out the card. Plead your cases, guys. I'm going to start filling out this card. Here we go. So the first one I'm seeing is definitely Paris Ford out of Pittsburgh, safety. Wilson, another popular pick here, interior defensive line out of Florida State. He's going to make it on the card. Seeing a lot of Gainwell, running back out of Memphis. Don't spam too hard there, Timmy. I see it. I see a couple of Gainwells. Gainwell's a beast. Okay. Gainwell's going to make the card, running back out of Memphis. That would be very interesting if the Chargers take another running back after spending a pick on Joshua Kelly last season. Wilson and Patrick Jones. Yeah, we got Wilson. He's on the card. We got Marlon here. Jordan Smith, edge. What else are you guys saying in here? Patrick Jones, edge out of Pittsburgh. So between Jordan Smith and Patrick Jones, that's who you guys like. It's Patrick Jones. Perkins. Hamza. So you got a couple of safety options in there. Let's go with Patrick Jones. We're going to add him to the card. Okay. Let me see if I can find one, like a wild card pick that I like too. Perkins, Trey Sermon, Seth Williams. What are we looking at as far as wide receiver here? Where is Schwartz? Where is he projected to go? Anthony Schwartz at 126. He's got a little ways to go. Seth Williams, Sage Surratt right here too, man. He looks pretty good. 6'2", 215. Ex-receiver that can simultaneously serve as a big slot. Very interesting. We'll wait. We'll wait on wide receiver for now. I'm going to go ahead and put here. Whoa, wait a minute. Okay, so we weren't scrolled all the way up here, guys. I'm sitting here like Paris Ford's the top guy. All these guys here are still available. So get your word in now that we know that these guys are here, man. Deonta Brown, interior offensive lineman. That would be nuts. Starting guard. Get your new names in, man. We scrolled up. We found a whole bunch of new players. Richie Grant out of UCF. This guy looks pretty crazy too, man. Interchangeable, but primarily free safety and cover one. Richie Grant. Daniel Falele, offensive tackle, still available in the third round. Starting right tackle is his ideal role. Obviously, he could probably play left as well, but some depth there in case Brian Bulaga goes down. Spencer Brown, Walker Little, two guys I've heard a lot about too. Tyler Shelvin, interior defensive line. Michael Carter, running back. Get your new picks in here, guys. I'm going to delete all of these. We scrolled up. We found some new players. So I'm seeing some guys say Deonta Brown, interior offensive lineman. He'd be a guard. I like it a lot. Interior offensive lineman. That's going to be our option number one. Falele. Let's do it. Falele. Offensive tackle out of Minnesota. He's going to make it on the card. Falele's on the card. Who else do we see? Richie Grant. Safety out of UCF. He's going to make the card. Seeing a lot of Walker Little too, man. Yeah, Walker Little. I think some injury concern there. But he would be an amazing pick in the 3rd round. And these are the kind of players that I do expect to fall. But yeah, Brown's already on the card. If I say on the card, try not to spam it too hard so I can see other options. Felton. Let's see who's Felton down here. Not seeing a... Let's see, this Ronnie Perkins you guys were talking about. Gainwell. You guys still want Gainwell on the board, even with Michael Carter up here? What kind of prospect is Michael Carter? Zone running scheme, complementary 1B back that's featured in passing game. Okay, so he's already like what we have in Austin Eckler. We don't need him. Yeah, Little's already on the board. Tyler Shelvin, interior defensive line. That's a good one. Shelvin, interior defensive line. He's going to make the card. Okay, one more, guys. One more. In the 3rd round. Maybe I'll make my own pick here too. This is exciting. Maybe even Richie Grant and Paris Ford. I think you take Richie Grant, right? Is there anybody else that I would consider here? We're gonna keep Patrick Jones on the board too, in case you guys want to go for an edge. We're gonna make him option 6. All right, guys, here we go. We're gonna start this poll. It is live. The poll is live. Did that last guy not make it in? That's fine. I think these 5 are fine. So we got interior offensive line and Brown, offensive tackle on Falele. Grant at safety, some depth at that position just in case. Derwin James, Walker Little, offensive tackle. He'd be pretty nice too. And then Shelvin, interior defensive line. Couple of really good positions of need here, guys. Brown, interior offensive line, starting guard. This guy is huge. He's taking the lead pretty massively here. We're going to let this run until 2:15. Stand by. Are you live streaming the game today? I guess I got my times mixed up, man. If we finish this stream before the game start, probably not. Right now, it looks like Brown is going to take the lead here, man. Interior offensive line, it's looking pretty solid right now. Would Brown be an Aaron Donald type player on the offensive line? He's pretty big. If you can ask me if he can take Aaron Donald, I don't know if anybody can. But he's pretty huge. Richard Priest, we are on the 3rd round right now, my friend. On the 3rd round. Do the Bolts keep Storm? Norton? Possibly is a depth position. It's not a bad idea to keep him. Okay, we're going to close this in 15 seconds, guys. Get your votes in. Last chance. Get your votes in. 10 seconds. It looks like it's going to be Brown, interior offensive line at Alabama. Who have we picked so far? We're about to show the results here, man. 3, 2, 1. The poll is now closed. And Brown is going to be the pick for the Chargers here in the 3rd round. Again, we have another pick to make in the 3rd round, guys. We have a compensatory pick. But Deonta Brown out of Alabama. 338 pounds, 6'4". Let's go ahead and change to this screen here. 6'4", 338 pounds. Starting in 24 of 46 career games, Brown possesses a beefy and wide-bodied frame with a well above average amount of strength and point of attack. Physically, he's an efficient run blocker with lots of attractive skills. Aggressive in the run game, he shows high strength levels of awareness. In Alabama's downhill run scheme, he allowed to stay on track and road grade any target that directly in front of him. Easily able to move defenders and dislodging them out of gaps, he's best suited in a manpower-based blocking scheme. As a pass protector, he's comfortable with playing within his parameters and is efficient in slide or man protections. When in single back situations, situations. He has the foot quickness in order to match and mirror the movements of interior defenders. Having an anchor that's nearly impossible to knock over, his wide frame also enables him to engulf and cover up rushers. Brown is able to negate interior pressure effectively. He's a guard prospect. Man gap power scheme. He's pretty nice. He's pretty nice. I don't know, man. I kind of like it. Oh, you guys can kind of see this too. It's kind of cutting off on the edge, but you guys can kind of see it there. That's going to be the Chargers' first pick in the 3rd round. Interior offensive line. We're going to get another guard here. We're going to show the results here in just a second, but I like it, man. Should do a draft for every team in this next one. That way it might be a little more realistic as to what's available to us. I'm comfortable doing that for the first and maybe half of the 2nd round, but I'm still putting grades in a lot of guys. Yeah, he's a good pick, Jonathan. He's a very good pick. So the Chargers go 2 offensive linemen in the first 3 rounds so far. We still have another 3rd round pick coming up at pick number 97. See if anybody falls to us. Falele still on the board. Will he make it back to the Chargers? Maybe we stack really crazy on this offensive line. Paris Ford still available. Falele, that'd be kind of crazy if he Falele's to us at 97. Kenneth Gainwell still available. Our 2nd, 3rd round pick. Maybe this is where we start thinking about wide receiver as well, guys. So we have Ronnie Perkins still available at edge as well. Joe Tyron still available at edge as well. What do you guys think? Start pleading your case for your 2nd, 3rd round pick for the Chargers. Who else we got down here? Sage Surratt. Tylan Wallace, wide receiver. Kerry Vincent Jr. Daz Newsome. Anthony Schwartz, wide receiver out of Auburn. One of my favorite prospects so far. Very fast, very dangerous. Could pair up very well with Justin Herbert. What do you guys think? Oh, I'm okay. So start pleading your case. I'm going to start filling out the card. Let's start filling out the card here. Chat, start filling your cases. I'm seeing a lot of Anthony Schwartz. Wide receiver out of Auburn. He's going to make the card. I'm seeing Wallace. Oop. Tylan Wallace, wide receiver out of Oklahoma State. Aligning mostly as the Z receiver, predominantly to the right side only. Wallace has been a prolific option for the team's offense. With mostly air raid, his responsibilities were limited to a few select when running routes on the perimeter. Okay, starting Z receiver. Air Coryell field receiver is the best scheme. I know a lot of Chargers fans like hearing that. Wallace is going to make the board here. Wallace, wide receiver out of Oklahoma State. It's going to be option number 2. Couple wide receivers. I'm seeing a lot of people say Gainwell still, so you guys really want a weapon. Gainwell, running back. Still available out of Memphis. He's going to make the board. Seeing Robertson, Sermon out of Ohio State. Trey Sermon, running back. So between the two, I think I'm seeing a lot more support for Gainwell out of Memphis, but Sermon definitely not bad too. 6 foot, 216. Split inside zone, heavy rushing attack, early down, starting running back. So he does fit what the Chargers want. He's a good size. You guys let me know. No running back, some people say. We're going to put at least one in there in Gainwell. Gainwell, 5'11", 191 pounds. We're going to keep him on there because the chat wants him. Perkins, edge out of Oklahoma. Let's go ahead and add him. Perkins, edge. He's going to make the card. Some guys still want Paris Ford. Safety. He's going to make the card. Some guys like Crisco as well, too, out of Syracuse. 6 foot, 2'3". I think he's the guy that's pretty fast, right? Starting free safety, plays primarily deep alignment, single high safety zone, split safety. He fits what the Chargers need pretty well. But again, we don't know what the defense is going to look like without Gus Bradley. Merlin Robinson, linebacker out of Arizona State. 3-down linebacker with good combination of size and movement skills. His versatility could be an asset in today's NFL. Although he's an ideal fit as a stacked linebacker in 4-3, he has shown the ability to rush from an up or down position off the edge as well. Okay, Robertson's going to make the card. That's going to fill it out. Linebacker. That's going to be our option number 6. Add. And done. Okay, guys, we're going to start this poll. Here we go. Here is your poll. Here are the players available. You guys still see Robertson down there? Yeah, you can. See if I can make this go down a little bit. Okay, we got Schwartz with number 1, wide receiver Wallace. At number 2, Gainwell, halfback. 3, Perkins, edge at 4. Ford, safety at 5. And Robertson, linebacker at 6. Get your votes in. Get your votes in. Yeah, the defense is going to be better without Gus. I agree with him. I agree. Get your votes in. How are we going to build this Chargers team? 2 selections in the 3rd round. This could be pretty crazy. Our defense isn't bad. Gus Bradley was just set in his ways. Yeah, I agree. I think Coach Dave Bolts is going to get a lot more creative than we've seen in the past with Gus Bradley. And hopefully we see that curse that the Chargers have been putting up with in Los Angeles shift over to Vegas with the Raiders now. Jalen Darden. Yeah, I'll put him on my list, man. I will. Can you show us who we drafted so we can vote depending on it? I'll just tell you guys. In the first, we took Christian, was it Christian Darrisaw? I'll have to show you guys. I'll have to show you guys now. So our picks so far, it was Darrisaw, Campbell, and Deonta Brown. Let me actually move this over. Deonta Brown, Tyson Campbell, and Christian Darrisaw is who we have so far. Thanks for the heads up there, man. So we have so far. We're going to close the poll in like 30 seconds. How do you feel about Brandon Staley? I wouldn't be upset with it, man. I think we win if we get Dable, Staley. I don't know. I think I'm so locked in on Dable. I don't know if anything else is going to happen. 15 seconds here, guys. Can we select the director at offensive tackle? I could probably do it, bro. A big boy. Not Staley. Yeah, I'm pretty set with Dable. That's who I want. Looks like Schwartz is probably going to be the move here, guys. We're going to close it in 3, 2, 1. And the poll is closed. It is going to be Anthony Schwartz, wide receiver out of Auburn. That is going to be our 2nd, 3rd round pick. Honestly, not too bad. Let's take a look at this player profile. Anthony Schwartz, wide receiver, 6 feet tall, 179 pounds. A couple pros and cons here. The pros on Anthony Schwartz. Anthony is aligned to both sides, both inside and outside wide receiver for the Tiger spread offense. He's an excellent athlete in terms of his combination of agility, speed, and toughness. He has excellent suddenness off the line of scrimmage and quickly eats up defenders' cushions. Schwartz is the type of ball carrier that keeps you on the edge of your seat due to his home run ability to take any catch or carry the distance. Because his deep speed is so dynamic, he forces defenders to open their hips early. As a result, hitches and 5 routes are usually his easy pitch and catch situations. He demonstrates toughness to catch slant routes from the slot and also 6 routes. He has good tackling ability and soft hands to catch deep balls, or tracking ability and soft hands to catch deep balls. It's a pretty good scheme fit. This is a pretty good scheme fit. The cons on him, however, Schwartz doesn't have a lot of mass or strength on his overall frame. He's somewhat of a linear athlete with not a lot of wiggle, both as a ball carrier and at the top of the route. He can use more sideline awareness in regard to toe drags, also sight adjustments, his route in critical moments of the game to get his first downs. He's disinterested in being a run blocker, and although his route running is sufficient overall, he would be absolutely scary if he developed more polish in the short to intermediate range. So basically what you're looking at is a rich... Yeah, I like that comment there, Arvega. He's a rich man's Jalen Guyton. And what do I keep talking about when it comes to the Chargers wide receivers that need a deep threat wide receivers? We just needed someone that's a little bit better than Jalen Guyton, because Jalen Guyton showed us what Justin Herbert can do with an efficient deep target. A guy that can run, go routes. Keenan can help with route running. Yeah. He's got great, teachers out there definitely for the Chargers wide receivers. Schwartz is a bust. Paris Ford is a Pro Bowler. You don't know bust potential until it's in the NFL, my man. This makes me want to do a draft in Madden. Yeah, me too, actually. I might do it a little later today on my downtime. Hill showed some great routes at the end of the season. Yeah, he did. I like this pick a lot, man. Now, it's not to say that's the best wide receiver still on the board. There's still a couple of guys that might fit the Chargers quite well as well. If we take a look here, let's actually close this. Sage Surratt out of Wake Forest could be a good pick for the Chargers. Amarni Rogers, he's more of a slot receiver. Yeah, slot receiver built more like a running back, so maybe we don't need him. We don't need a slot guy. Tylan Wallace too, man, could be pretty nice. 6 feet, 185, Z receiver, scheme fit and air choreo. This is a big thing I want to point out to you guys. We're gonna take Anthony Schwartz. I think he's a great scheme fit. I think with Justin Herbert, he would be absolutely dangerous. But before we do select him, actually, let's go here to this here. Before we do select him, I want to remind you guys, if we get Dable is known for running a lot of wide receivers on the field at one time. A lot. Okay? Spread offenses. He's known for utilizing a lot more than just 2 or 3 wide receivers. 4 receiver sets. Stuff like that. 5 receivers sometimes. We need to have a lot more depth at the position. And so if we get a guy like Anthony Schwartz in the 3rd round, we get another guy maybe in like the 6th round, we need to load up on wide receiver, because that's the way that Dable likes to run his offense. Okay? So we got a perfect scheme fit guy. We got more depth at wide receiver. I like the pick quite a bit. So that's who we're going to take here with our 2nd, 3rd round pick. It's going to be Anthony Schwartz out of Auburn. Would be like Buffalo's Gabe Davis. Yeah, he's a speedster. And honestly, Justin Herbert would probably utilize him very, very well. Again, the same way that we see Josh Allen utilize his deep threats. I think that's kind of what you're trying to mimic in Los Angeles if we do get Dable. We need a speedster slot wide receiver if Dable is hired. Yeah, we do need to address wide receiver if Dable is hired. Okay, so here's our result here, guys. The Chargers in the first 3 rounds, of course, having 2 3rd round picks, started off with Christian Darrisaw, offensive lineman out of Virginia Tech. All of a sudden, Justin Herbert standing upright, left side, not looking as scary. That's a great pick in the 1st round. Obviously, a position of need as well. Tyson Campbell, cornerback, opposite of Michael Davis, maybe opposite of Casey Hayward, depending on what happens this offseason. 6'2", speedy cornerback, plays very well in man press. That could be a very scary combination, especially if we keep Michael Davis. This is a pretty good draft, guys. I like this one quite. It has the physical traits, too, to develop into something pretty scary, this Tyson Campbell. Sounds like Dable's a lock for head coach. Yeah, I think so, too. Our first pick in the 3rd round, Deonta Brown. Interior offensive lineman, a beast of a human being, lined up at guard. I'm not quite sure which side, but I'm pretty sure on the Chargers he'd be our left guard in relief of Forrest Lamp. A huge human being lined up on the interior. I think Justin Herbert all of a sudden is feeling very comfortable with his protection on the left side. And if you consider how good Trey Turner and Brian Bulaga can be if they remain healthy on the right side, all of a sudden this Chargers offensive line's looking pretty scary. Deonta Brown, in my opinion, I don't think he's going to fall to us in the 3rd round, but if he does, if somebody like him falls to us in the 3rd round, whew, be pretty nasty. And our final pick of this draft, Anthony Schwartz, the speedster out of Auburn, the playmaker. Again, like I think somebody said that Anthony Schwartz reminds them of Jalen Guyton, but better, much better. And he has the potential to develop into something pretty crazy. I like it, man. This is pretty good. You guys did a really good job. Forrest Lamp wasn't bad. No, he wasn't bad, but we don't know if he's going to stay on the team yet. We don't know yet. Would you go with Feeney or Pouncey as center? I don't think Pouncey's staying. Maybe he does. That injury is pretty scary. Feeney likely is the answer if we must. I don't know yet. Can't cut Turner. He's the best offensive lineman on the team. I don't know yet, man. He showed okay. Like, he was okay in the season, but his injury is so huge, and he's an 11.5 after over the cap or against the cap. I don't know yet. I don't know yet. We'll have to, I mean, I hope we I do kind of hope we keep him, but there's a case to be made that maybe we can cut him. We can get Will Fuller as a free agent. He's great this year. Yeah, but he'd be pretty expensive. He'd be wildly expensive, but that would definitely make us excited. Should we reach for Brown in the second round? You could. I don't think he falls to us in the third, so you definitely could consider taking him in the second. But, I mean, getting that cornerback as well, a 6'2 speedster and Tyson Campbell, I think that's also a really, really good pick. The Chargers' defensive backs aren't as strong as they used to be. They're going to get a little bit better when Derwin James comes back. But as far as corner is concerned, I'm very worried about that. Tyson Campbell definitely helps in that regard. You think we go with a receiver with rockets on his feet? The one with the 47-inch vert? You got to give me a name, man. That sounds like an awesome prospect. Cut Trey, sign Will with some of the $11 million. You could do that. That's why some people say cut Trey, because maybe we can sign another guy. But I would hope we use that money towards offensive line, if I'm being quite honest. We can attack, wide receivers and stuff in the draft, because it's a really deep draft in that aspect. And then maybe sign like a proven guy on the offensive line. I don't know yet. John Ross would be a horrible signing. It wouldn't be. On the surface, yeah, it would seem that way. But you got to take a look at his scheme fit in Cincinnati. John Ross wasn't going to be great in Cincinnati. He didn't have the kind of quarterback that would utilize him properly. He's the kind of guy, he reminds me of, if he were on the Chargers, he would remind me a lot of Brandon Cooks, where you don't see him all the time, but when he is needed deep, he's always available. And I feel like with Justin Herbert, John Ross pairs with him very, very well. So what John Ross would allow this offense to do is stretch the field, because we all know that if John Ross gets open, Justin Herbert's able to hit him with his very powerful throw, his very powerful arm. So that's going to force the defense to back off a little bit. And when they don't back off, John Ross all of a sudden has a guy that can toss it to him 55 yards. You know what I mean? It wouldn't be a bad pick. And the last reason I think John Ross isn't a bad signing is because he's going to be so darn cheap. He's going to be one of the cheapest wide receivers to get in free agency, and he possesses the best speed we've ever seen in the NFL Combine. So, I mean, again, it's very low risk, high reward. And if it doesn't work out, we'll be fine. Fuller's overrated. I think Fuller isn't the move because he's too expensive. If I had between Fuller and Ross, I would still take Ross because he's going to be very, very cheap. Schwartz is probably going undrafted. Why is that? I think he's a third or fourth rounder. For sure. Trade Hayward for Ross. I think Hayward's worth more than that. Ross is a free agent. Josh. I'm going to have to write this down, man. That's a crazy name. Josh Imotorbehe. Out of Illinois. I'm going to have to write that down. We'll take a look at him too. Hayward is better than Ross by and then Ross is a free agent. We don't have to worry about trading nobody for him. He's straight up. You can sign him for like $5 million. So by trying to get another wide receiver means we're trying to keep Allen in the slot. No. So again, Dable uses a lot of, in his scheme, he uses a lot of wide receivers. So for one, we're going to need better depth. And for two, if we can get a speedster to help stretch the field, yeah, you can move Keenan Allen to the slot a lot more, which is actually a pretty good move because that's where he's best. In my opinion, he produces the best from the slot, but you can still line him up outside. It doesn't really matter, where they line up for the most part. More that they're available, that we have the depth. Because you can expect Dable, he's going to want more than 3 wide receivers on the field more often than not. Elijah Griffin's my favorite late round pick. Okay. I'll go ahead and write that down real quick. I'm starting to wind down here, guys. Let's do one more draft where we trade down. How about that? We'll make it a little bit quicker. Let's do one more draft where we trade down. We'll go into the 4th round. How about that? How about that? One more for the culture. Let me get everything set up. One more for the culture. Let me set up the last draft of the evening. And again, guys, we're going to get more polished as we keep going. This is actually, for me, a lot of fun. I don't know about you guys. I've had a lot of fun seeing your guys' perspective. The voting system's actually pretty tight. I like it quite a bit. Let's go ahead. And I wish I could control all the teams, but it just takes too much time. It's probably a good 45 minutes for 2 rounds if you control the whole draft. So we'll have to let the computer be a goober one more time, but that's okay. And we're going to trade down in the first round in this one, okay, guys? We're going to trade down in the first round just to kind of switch up our draft position, just in case. Okay? Here we go. Here we go. We're going to trade down. We're going to take the best possible offer that we get. We're going to see what happens. And we're not going to offer anything to anybody. We're going to take an offer. Maybe we will, just depending. If it's a really bad offer, if we're only seeing really bad offers, maybe I'll force something. But I don't want it to get too crazy. I don't think Trey Lance is worth trading up for if I'm Washington. If he falls to you, though, man, do you consider taking? I think Trey Lance is a great prospect. What? He's kind of like the poor man's Josh Allen with some development. He could definitely be really good. I like Trey Lance a lot. All right, so here's our first offers here, guys. Let's start with Washington because they're probably more likely to move up to get somebody. A first and a third for the Chargers first. So we're looking at getting an extra third-round pick in a lot of these. I move down here. So in this instance, we move down, 6 spots with Washington, 7 spots with the Bears, and 10 spots with the Jets. You wouldn't take Washington's offer? Do you guys think that's fair? A third-round pick to move up a few? I'm thinking this isn't as far-fetched as we're thinking here, guys. Some people would say, oh, no, we can get more. I think a third is pretty, realistic. I think a third is pretty realistic here, guys. It depends on where you're going, though. You get the 19 and 76, the 20 and 83, and the 23 and 66. Washington, we probably wouldn't take it, but this is more for sake of argument if we do trade back here, guys. Don't be too offended if we take a trade here. I want you guys to shift your perspectives of what happens if we have an extra third-round pick and what happens if we're going at 19 instead of 13. You guys are saying Jets is the best? You're getting the 23 and the 66 versus the 19 and the 76. Take Washington or the Jets. I'm going to take a coin flip here, guys. Coin flip here. See what we've got. Let's say heads for Washington, tails for the Jets. And it's going to be heads. It's going to be heads. Sorry, this is heads. It's going to be heads. We're going to take Washington's. So stay frosty here, guys. This could happen draft night. All of a sudden, everything changes. All of a sudden, you gotta stay on your feet. Stay on your toes. Because all of a sudden, you're not picking where you thought you were picking. So we took a trade with the Washington football team who go up to get their quarterback, Trey Lance. And all of a sudden, the Chargers are looking at a different scenario here in the first round. Obviously, I think we know what's going to happen. That's kind of crazy. Najee Harris, Travis Etienne, forced Darisaw up to the 16 spot. That's pretty nuts. I'm going to fill the card out now here, guys. Let's fill the card out. I think we all know what we're taking here, though. I think it's pretty obvious. We're going to do a very short vote. That's going to be 1. Who else would I take here? Osai. Edge. I would take him. Some guys want Rosal. I'm not huge on him, but we're going to put him on here anyway. He does fit our scheme a little bit better than other guys, I'm not going to lie. Zaven Collins could be... Oh, Vera Tucker is a very good prospect, too. And anybody else that I would take, maybe Horn. We'll make him the 5 pick. Okay. We are starting this now, guys. We're going to go through this pretty quick. Okay, here are your options. Darisaw, offensive lineman, still on the board. That's going to be your first one. The voting is open. We got Osai, edge at number 2. Rousseau, edge at number 3. Vera Tucker, offensive lineman, interior at number 4. And then J.C. Horn, cornerback at number 5. Get your votes in. We're gonna close this one at like a minute 30. So I'm gonna give you guys 1 minute because I think this one's pretty obvious. But I want to see what you guys think. The numbers speak more than for just who wins. We're going to give it another like 30 seconds here, guys. I think it's going to be Darisaw. Obviously, we got 28 votes in for Darisaw. I think it's pretty evident. I don't really see him falling to us. More than likely, I think a guy like Vera Tucker is definitely more realistic, which honestly, he'd be pretty cool. I'll talk about him for just a second once we're done here. But, I mean, anything could happen. Darisaw falling to us after a trade would be incredible. More than likely, we do get Vera Tucker, but again, anything can happen. We're going to close it in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're going to close the poll here. It's complete. It's going to be Darisaw. So the Chargers are going to get themselves a difference maker. Probably the guy who we take anyway, Christian Darisaw. But I do want to talk about this guy, Vera Tucker, Elijah Vera Tucker here for a second. Elijah Vera Tucker, we're starting to see him climb boards a little bit more because of his versatility. He plays very well at guard and tackle. Starting left guard in the NFL is what they're saying his ideal role would be, but he could definitely move out to left tackle if we need him to. So there's some versatility in there. 6'4", 300 pounds, I think is pretty great. I think he's pretty great. And I think, honestly, realistically, if we trade back to the 19 spot, we get a guy like Elijah Vera Tucker. Maybe even a Wyatt Davis. I think those are probably your best offensive line options. Maybe a Jalen Mayfield. Maybe we even reach for an Alex Leatherwood. But Christian Darisaw is an obvious pick in this first round for the Chargers right now. So we're going to go ahead and take Christian Darisaw in the first round after trading. And this also gives us an additional third-round pick to work with. I pray to God I put more than one round. Okay, put 4 rounds. So this one's going to go pretty quick, guys. This will be our last draft. This will be our last draft. See who falls to us in the second round. Now the Chargers have 3 third-round picks. Keep that in mind. Rousseau? Rousseau? Rousseau. Rousseau or Rousseau? Which positions are this draft heavy in should dictate how we pick. Yeah, offensive line after Penei Sewell. Everybody grades pretty similarly. Obviously, guys like Christian Darisaw, Slater are graded much higher, but there's pretty good depth at offensive line this draft. Interior defensive line's pretty good. Quarterback, obviously, when you're talking second, third string guys, there's some good depth. Wide receivers pretty deep this draft too. Jalen Darden from North Texas. We'll take a look at him too wherever he falls. Okay, so we're only going to do the one trade this draft. Second round, here's what we're looking at. We're looking at Javonte Williams, Trey Smith, interior offensive line. Is he a center or guard? He's a guard, Trey Smith. Pretty nasty guy. Tommy Togiai, Davian Nixon, Landon Dickerson. Again, center needs to be addressed as well. What do you guys think? Start putting your pleads in the comment section. I'm going to start filling out the card. Stay frosty, stand by. Who we got? Tufele, first man on the board here. He's going to be our interior defensive line. He's going to make the card list. Going to add him. Yeah, Tufele's in there, guys. Let me get some more names. Davian Nixon, interior defensive lineman once again. He's going to make the card. Dickerson, Landon Dickerson, center. He's going to make the card. Okay, who else are we looking at? Trey Smith. You guys like him starting guard? He's pretty nasty too, man. It's pretty crazy to see him here still too. So we're going to put Smith in here. Interior offensive lineman. He's on the card. Who else, guys? I'm going to scroll down a little bit, see if there's any other prospects. You guys are super high on. Rondell Moore's pretty good. Nico Collins. Creed Humphrey. Dylan Reddins. Deonta Brown, still there. What else do you guys think? Josh Myers. Richie Grant. I got room for maybe one or two more names. Seeing Moore. Okay. Rondell Moore. Wide receiver out of Purdue. He's going to make the card. One more name. One more name. Holland. I'm seeing Holland a couple of times in here too. Javon Holland, safety. Okay, he's going to make the card too. So that's going to be 6. Here we go, guys. The voting has begun. Stay frosty. Here are your 6 candidates in the second round. Tufele, interior defensive tackle. Actually, let me make that a little bit higher. There we go. Tufele. We got Nixon, Dickerson, Smith, Moore, and Holland. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 down the board. This one should be pretty split, man. There's a lot of people voting different ways. A lot of people voting different ways on this one. Get your votes in. We're going to let this one run to 2 minutes. Very interesting. Interior offensive lineman Smith, guard, in the lead right now with 8 votes. This one's pretty split, guys. We're going to let this run until 2 minutes. You got another minute and 10 seconds to get your votes in. Minute and 10 seconds to get your votes in for the Chargers' second pick. And then keep in mind, we have 3 third-round picks to work with. 3 third-round picks to work with. Looks like Smith is in the lead. Let's go ahead and jump back to this screen here. The Chargers picks so far. We took Darisaw in the first round. All picks here. You're looking at rankings. Tufele and Smith are at the top. Togiai would have been cool too, but we've already put him a couple of times. Dickerson and Nixon. Interesting. I think the ideal thing is to draft 1 guard, offensive tackle, edge, corner, depth, other settings. Yeah. I like it. Okay, we're going to close it in 10 seconds, guys. 10 seconds. Looks like Smith is going to win it with 20 votes. That's going to be our second round pick. Chargers going very offensive line heavy in their first 2 picks. Closing in 3, 2, 1. And the poll is closed. It's going to be Trey Smith, guard, in the second round. So Trey Smith, guard out of Tennessee. This guy looks pretty incredible, man. Starting guard only in gap power run scheme. Okay. A prized recruit out of high school, Tennessee offensive lineman Trey Smith played at left tackle early for the Volunteers' career before finding a home at right guard where he fits best in the NFL. Identifying Smith's strengths and weaknesses are pretty straightforward. He brings exceptional power to the table and dominates in a phone booth, but his lack of mobility and flexibility leads to some restrictions. While Smith is a massive and powerful people mover, his high-hipped frame makes it challenging for him to play with consistent leverage and takes away from his functional strength, which is his best asset. So he'll have some developing to do, but Trey Smith, man, 5-star recruit. He's got all the physical pieces to work with. That's definitely not a bad pick right there. I like it. So the Chargers going very heavy on the offensive line in the first 2 picks. And again, we got 3 picks to work with in the third round and then an additional 4th pick in this particular mock draft. We're going to go a bit quicker here. So let's see who falls to us in the third round. DB is definitely something we need. So, guys, the positions I would target in the next 4 picks are going to be wide receiver, defensive back, being cornerback or safety. Maybe interior defensive line would be pretty good too. If some best player available, like a halfback or something like that, is available, got to maybe look that way too. Linebacker, if there's any good depth pieces in there too, you got to look that way too. You don't know. So the chat is saying right now, defensive back or wide receiver next. Okay, so that's what you guys want. Let's see what falls to us, see what the chat decides in the next pick. Getting close. The Chargers have back-to-back picks, 76 and 77 in the third round. That's very interesting. You guys see that on this side of the screen here? Chargers 76 and 77 picks back-to-back. So you guys got a couple of names to vote for here. We're going to start with the 76 pick, obviously, and go from there. Back-to-back picks, very exciting. All right. Here are your options. We're going to scroll up this time, make sure that we're not missing any names. Looks good. This is what the Chargers have to work with. We got Richie Grant, Spencer Brown, offensive tackle out of Northern Iowa. This guy looks pretty good. 6'9", 321 pounds. Eventual starting right tackle is what they're saying. So he'll be a depth piece right tackle. Walker Little. This guy's pretty good too. 6'7", 309 pounds. Eventual starting left tackle. Again, another depth position guy there, but he could develop into something crazy. We've got interior defensive line. Tyler Shelvin, 362, 6'3". He's an early down run defender and 3-4 nose tackle, 4-3-1 technique. He looks pretty good too. Richie Grant obviously looks pretty good. Paris Ford. Cornerbacks, we got Israel Mukuamu. Elijah Molden at cornerback as well. Who else we got out here? Kenneth Gainwell is still there. Patrick Jones. Trey Sermon looks pretty good too. Tommy Treble. Seth Williams, wide receiver. Haven't looked at him much. 6'2", 224. Got prototypical size to be an receiver in the NFL. Okay, so here's what I'm going to start taking your guys' please in the comments section. I'm going to start filling out the card. First, third round pick. Guys, remember, we have two back-to-back picks. Back-to-back picks here. So if we don't get your guy with this first pick, there's a chance we get him with the second pick here. You guys are saying Roche? Or Roche, sorry. Is he available here? He's an edge, right? I don't see him here, man. Probably a bit of a reach at this pick. Quincy Roche. Roche. Am I blind or I just don't see him? Maybe he's already been picked up, my man. We'll keep an eye out for him in the future. Shelvin is a monster, says R. Vega. Okay, okay. So Shelvin at 76 here. I'm going to put him on the card. Shelvin is on the card. He is interior defensive line. He's on the card. Sort by running back. Okay. Gainwell, Sermon, Chuba Hubbard, Javian Hawkins, Kylan Hill. That's what you're looking at there. Victor Dimukeje, edge. Okay. Dimukeje. He's going to be on the card too. Seen some grants. Safety. We're going to add him to the card. Who else you guys want? Chuba Hubbard. Where is he projected to go? Hubbard isn't projected until pick 104, so probably can get him in the fourth round if we wanted to. Maybe like our third round pick too, if you guys want to go after him there. Spencer Brown, offensive lineman. So 3 offensive line picks. I'll go ahead and add him anyway, man. He's huge. He would develop into a really good right tackle eventually. But how much draft capital do you want to throw at the offensive line? Walker Little as well, okay. We'll put Little offensive tackle too. Chargers very, very heavy at offensive line in this draft. Elijah Molden. Is there anybody else here that... Okay, yeah, Molden. I'm going to add Molden as well. Cornerback. And I think that'll be the last one. Okay, so with our first pick in the third round... Oh, no. It didn't save anything. Give me 1 second, guys. Okay, I got to redo this. So we had Shelvin first, who was interior defensive line. We had Grant. We had Walker. We had Brown. Let's see. We had the edge. And then we had Molden. Okay. Add and save. Okay, we're going to start the poll now, guys. Here we go. The poll is now live. First round, or first pick in the third round. We got Shelvin, we got Grant, Walker, Brown, Dimukeje, and Molden. That's who we got. That's who we got. We're going to look at wide receiver this next back-to-back pick, too, here, man. Mike Farnsworth, what's up, man? With the bolt-up vote for good luck. Shelvin, Grant, Walker, Brown, the edge, and Molden, cornerback. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? We're going to let this run for another 1 minute. Another minute. So 1 for Shelvin, 2 for Grant, 3 for Walker, 4 for Brown, 5 for Dimukeje, and 6 for Molden. Okay? We're going to close it in 25 seconds. 25 seconds. Get your votes in. It looks like Grant has taken the lead. 15 seconds. Here comes Shelvin. 4 votes behind. 10 seconds left. Get your votes in. Grant has got the vote by 4 and 3, 2, 1, and the poll is closed. It is going to be Grant, safety, out of UCF, as the pick for the Chargers in the third round. So far, the Chargers going Christian Darrisaw, Trey Smith, and Richie Grant in the first 3 picks. Not too bad at all. Do we really need safety? I think we do, man. I think we do. Richie Grant, ideal role, interchangeable, but primarily free safety. That's what we need pretty bad, as a free safety. So Richie Grant could be a pretty good free safety for the Chargers moving forward. But we have another pick to go through now, guys. Another pick. So I'm going to start filling out the card now, because there's a couple of names you guys really wanted. I'm also going to sort by wide receiver. Show you guys who's available here. We got Seth Williams out of Auburn, Sage Surratt, Amari Rogers, Tylan Wallace, Anthony Schwartz, Daz Newsome. Couple of wide receiver prospects here. We could probably get him with our third round pick after this one too. So keep that in mind as far as what the board is showing us. We could probably still get him with our next third round pick. There's a couple of really good options there. Okay, so start pleading your cases. I am going to edit the card one more time. Back-to-back picks. What do you guys want? Go wide receiver in 4. Yeah, we could. Yeah, we just showed the wide receivers. Ermum. Not seeing an Ermum. Victor. Okay, you guys want Dimukeje back. So we're gonna put him right back on the card. Chuba Hubbard. You could probably get him in like the 4th round, my guy, if you really want Hubbard. Molden back. Okay, we'll get Molden back on the card. Okay, you guys want Shelvin back on the card? Okay. Shelvin's back. Darden is projected in like the 5th round, 4th or 5th round there, my guy. Maybe we can target him in the 4th round. Shelvin is legit bigger than Linval. He's a tank. Ooh, you guys got to consider Shelvin, man. The guy looks like a beast. I'm going to put one offensive lineman back on the board, too. Let's go ahead and maybe Walker Little. No, Spencer Brown. He's projected a little bit higher. Brown, offensive tackle. We're going to put him at 4, just in case. You guys are saying Felton. Projected running back in like the 5th round, 4th round. Probably wait on him. Look at Shelvin's summary, okay? Shelvin, I'll read this out here for a second. A 5-star recruit in 2017 out of LSU. early down run defender. He's a 3-4 nose tackle or a 4-3-1 technique guy. So he would line up next to Linval Joseph, 6'3", 362 pounds. That guy's pretty nasty, man. That guy's pretty... Yeah, Shelvin and Tillery would be nice. We'll have Sheldon and Linval Joseph this upcoming season. The guy is huge. The guy's huge. Okay, so what do we have right now? 4. I'm going to put one more on the board here. See if there's anybody else that I personally would at least look at. I'll go ahead and throw this as like a wild card in here. Okay, guys, here we go. We're going to add them. And we are starting the poll. Here we go, guys. Here are your selections for our second, third round pick. You got your edge, corner, interior defensive line, offensive tackle, and halfback. Demukeje, Molden, Shelvin, Brown, and Gainwell. Get your votes in now. We'll let it run for like 2 minutes. Get your votes in now. Shelvin leading the way with 3 votes. Couple guys want the edge. Couple guys want the interior guy. Very interesting. Couple votes for corner. But Shelvin leading the way with 18 votes so far. Demukeje trying to climb back in. If you get Shelvin, we can move Tillery to edge. That's what I'm thinking too, man. I think that's what the Chargers 100% do if we get a huge defensive tackle to line up next to Linval Joseph. For sure. Demukeje, edge, looks pretty good too. Molden, we haven't gotten a cornerback yet, man. Chargers could be in trouble when it comes to corner, defensive back. Gainwell was pretty popular in early drafts. No votes for him yet. We're going to let it run for another 20 seconds. Another 20 seconds. Jerry needs to play edge. He's been balling out last year at edge. Yeah, he was pretty good. He wasn't great, but he wasn't bad. He was pretty good. And we can blitz Nuosu as well, yeah. Okay, guys, 10 more seconds. Here we go. Going to close the vote. It looks like it's going to be Shelvin. 3, 2, 1, and it is closed. We're going to go with Shelvin as the Chargers' next pick in the third round. Interior defensive lineman, the huge man out of LSU. Back-to-back third-round picks for the Chargers. That was kind of exciting. I'm glad we went with the Washington football team's pick back-to-back. Very cool. Very nice. Shelvin is going to be the second, third-round pick, and the Chargers have another pick coming up at pick number 97. Who's going to fall to us? Walker Little and Spencer Brown now off the board. Got to make sure we're all the way scrolled up here. Still got Paris Ford, Elijah Molden still on the board. Gainwell still on the board. Patrick Jones, edge. Got Joe Tyron. There's Chuba Hubbard. Heard his name a couple of times. Sage Surratt. Not going to take any trades here. Chargers coming up here in just a couple of picks, guys. 96, and we are back on the board. Chargers with pick number 97. Start pleading your cases. Here's what we have so far. We picked up Richie Grant, so maybe safety, not a huge need. We got interior defensive line. We got 2 offensive linemen. Let's get it, guys. I'm going to start filling out the card. Stand by. Start throwing names in the chat. You guys want Schwartz again? I'm going to throw him in there. Okay. Armani Rogers as well. Armani Rogers. Wide receiver. Okay. Out of Clemson. Okay. So you guys are thinking wide receiver right now. We'll go ahead and add him. He's on the card. You guys want Patrick Jones, edge out of Pittsburgh as well. Okay. Patrick Jones. He's on the card. I'm going to go ahead and put Hubbard on there too. Heard a lot of people wanting him. We'll see if he gets any votes. But we'll add him to the card, Vega. We've seen some people want him. This is the fan control. We'll see what we can get. So between Felton and Hubbard, we're going to put Hubbard on there. Cornerback still. Let's scroll down here a little bit. See who else we have. We have Sage Surratt, wide receiver. Who do we have as far as corner? Darius Williams out of Oklahoma. Or Oklahoma State. Kerry Vincent out of LSU. We have Brady Christensen out of BYU if you want another offensive lineman. What are you guys thinking? Hunter Long, tight end. He looks pretty good. Out of Boston College. 6'5", 253. Maybe not the fastest guy in the world, but he's definitely pretty good. You guys like Hunter Long? You guys want Gainwell's info too? Running back out of Memphis. 5'11", 191. He played quarterback for a while. Gainwell's impressive with how consistent he is at staying the course, is not getting overly creative when it's not necessary, so he's a straight downhill runner. He's a shifty and quick, but does he have true breakaway speed? So not the fastest guy either. Maybe nothing crazy in comparison to Joshua Kelly. So we're going to go ahead and put Hunter Long in here too. The tight end. I saw a lot of people asking for him. And then I am going to throw the best cornerback on this list here too, which is going to be Rodarius Williams. Does he fit at Oklahoma State? 6 feet, 180. Managed to stay healthy. Okay, we're going to put Williams on there too. Six options in this one, guys. And the poll is open. Here we go. The Chargers' last pick in the third round. We got Schwartz, wide receiver, making a return in this draft. Rodgers, wide receiver as well. Jones in the edge. Hubbard at halfback. Long at tight end. And Williams at cornerback. Go ahead and get your votes in. We're going to close it at a minute 30. Couple votes for Hubbard. Couple votes for Jones. Schwartz is getting another vote in here. We're going to close this one pretty quick, guys. We'll get your votes in soon. Rodgers getting a vote, too. I have to assume a couple of really nice wide receivers will be available in the fourth as well. Chargers have a lot of draft capital to work with in 2021. That's pretty nice. I'm not going to lie. I hope at least between our last pick in the third round and our first pick in the fourth round, I hope we get a wide receiver some point. But Jones, Patrick Jones, leading the way with 12 votes right now. We're going to let it run another 30 seconds. Another 30 seconds and we're going to close. Jones at vote number 3. Has a pretty good lead with 12. Probably going to get ourselves an edge defender here in the third round, guys. 20 seconds. Schwartz climbing the board to 9. Close second place. 10 seconds here, guys. Looks like it's going to be Jones with 13 votes so far. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're going to close the poll. Very close between Schwartz and Jones, but Patrick Jones is going to take this one. Edge out of Pittsburgh. That Chargers are going to get themselves some depth at that position. Patrick Jones. Welcome to the Bolts. Now we do have one more pick here in the fourth round, guys. See if any of those big names you were hoping to see fall to us in the fourth round. But crazy, man. Crazy. Let me look at his profile here while they're scrolling down. Patrick Jones, a 6'5" edge defender, 260 pounds defensive end. He fits the scheme of a 4-3 defensive end, so the Chargers definitely could put him to good use. Pittsburgh defensive end Patrick Jones takes his talents to the NFL after strong junior and senior campaign where he racked up a combined 24 tackles for a loss and 17.5 sacks in 22 games. Jones is a balanced defender, capable of making an impact as a pass rusher and run defender. He doesn't offer much in the way of scheme versatility. He's a 4-3 defensive end with almost no experience in stand-up role, dropping in coverage, or playing the interior. As a pass rusher, Jones is hard charging out of his stance and brings a good variety of moves to the table. This guy seems like a really good fit for the Chargers, guys. I'm not gonna lie. For the Chargers scheme, this might be the move. He might be the move. I like that pick a lot. You guys nailed it. Chargers at pick 116 coming up. Paris Ford still on the board. Will he fall all the way to the Chargers? No, he will not. He's picked up by the Falcons. Couple more picks. Chargers back on the board. We're going to get a really cool result here at the end of this one. Why did it skip us? Yo, what's going on, website? It completely just skipped us. We took Demior Linior at cornerback. It made an executive decision. Why did it do that? He aligns at corner also inside Ducks hybrid scheme. Wow, dude, we got cheated. I mean, he looks good, but we were supposed to make that pick. Website bugging out on us again. That's fine. Let's take a look at what we got here, man. Gainwell was still on the board. Let me pause the draft here real quick, see who was taken that I would have taken. I would have taken a wide receiver there. So the Chargers, Amari Rodgers was still there. That probably would have been the pick for me. Was Schwartz already taken? I have to imagine he was gone. I bet you Schwartz was still there. Sage Surratt, yeah, it's Schwartz. Schwartz is still on the board here. Schwartz probably would have been the move for me there too. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. And I guess these things happen. So let's just assume we took a wide receiver in the 4th. I think that's what I would have done. That's what I would have done. Anthony Schwartz in the 4th round. Yeah, that's exactly what I would have done. A wide receiver in the 4th round. But the website bugged out. It's all good. We're going to take a look here at the results here in just a second. Actually, let's get the page ready. We're going to show the results and see what you guys feel. I feel like the second draft that we did was probably my favorite. But this one looks pretty good too in the trade down scenario. Kind of wanted to see what our position looked like, who we could pick up. And I think a lot of Chargers fans would be pretty happy with this one. User picks the Chargers in the first round, or in this mock draft. First round, we got Christian Darrisaw falling to us at 19. That probably won't happen. You can probably expect like an Elijah Vera Tucker at that pick. In the second round, Trey Smith, guard out of Tennessee. That's pretty nasty, man. Richie Grant, safety out of UCF. In the third round, that's pretty great too. We got a starting free safety. I think a lot of Chargers would be happy with that. Tyler Shelvin, second pick in the third round. Huge, monstrous interior defensive lineman. Incredible. Patrick Jones, who honestly, I'm going to watch some tape on Patrick Jones today. He seems like the perfect fit for the Chargers. Not the perfect fit for a lot of teams, so it's very realistic that he might fall to us. He seems like a really good depth position piece for the Chargers. Maybe even a starter at some point. He seems to have all the right tools to do what we would ask him to do in our scheme. Can we watch Schwartz highlights? I can't show highlights. Last time I got in trouble. But we'll see if there's a way I can maybe get around that in the future. And then obviously this last pick here, Lenior, cornerback out of Oregon. That's cool, but I think we would have gone with a wide receiver there. Maybe like a Schwartz, Anthony Schwartz out of Auburn. So that is going to do it for today's video, guys. Again, kind of an interesting one. We're working with a new software, but I like the voting system quite a bit. It's very interesting, really cool to get like solid numbers on what you guys want to see. And it was pretty fun. I liked it a lot. If you guys enjoyed what you saw, hit us up with a like and sub on your way out. Remember, my crew members, it's coming up here very soon in like a week and a half. Crew members, we're going to be giving away this Air Coryell jersey again with Charlie Joyner, Wes Chandler, and Wes Chandler, Kellen Winslow, and Charlie Joyner. We're going to be giving this away to somebody in my crew members. Don't worry about doing anything additionally than just being a member of the crew. It doesn't matter what tier. And then as soon as that one's over, we're going to be giving away this Keenan Allen jersey. Keenan Allen signed alternative jersey. One of my favorites of the season, one I'm wearing right now. And that one's going to be open to everybody, just subscribers. You don't have to be a member of the crew. That's going to be pretty fun. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining me. Who you picking this weekend? I hope the Bills, man. That'd be pretty sweet. Guys, thank you so much for joining me. Good luck to everybody in the playoffs. Should be a good time. And if the Bills lose, remember the Chargers could hire Dable like legit the day after. So get excited about that, guys. Again, thank you so much for joining me. This has been The Director. We'll see you next time. And as always, bolt up and stay frosty.